Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Oh, the voice nearly betrayed me. Come on, throat. Let's get it together. Welcome to July, my friends, where you can rightfully say next month they're playing college football. Another way to say it is college football starts next month. Woo-hoo. Man, did I wake up smiling yesterday knowing that was a truism. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do miss something, we got you covered all 3 hours. To be posted upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Got a lot of emails from you guys lately. Appreciate that. Sometimes leads to good fodder on the program, and insight is always appreciated. You can also follow me on Twitter @JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Also, while you're on Twitter, if you want to follow @979 ESPN Radio, you can periscope the program, if that's your cup of tea. Also, you can YouTube the program. Hello, YouTubers. I hope you're well today. I hope you're doing better than the periscopers. Tomorrow, I may hope the periscopers are doing better than you, YouTubers.
This is kind of like when you go to Ira or Corey first in
That's
a
right.
segment.
Yeah, that's right. And they get territorial.
You keep them on their toes.
Mm-hmm. I had a guy call me on Saturday, working so many shifts for SiriusXM these days, Tom, I lose track. That show featured a guy calling in to let me know that he was a YouTuber. So he must be a listener of the show.
That's the only way, yeah.
Right? Or is he just a proud YouTuber? He wanted to know, as a YouTuber, this is a weird question. He said, well, I'm curious. Give me the 4 teams you have in the college football playoff this year. I thought, sweet Jesus, we're starting with this already? Well, I've got your obvious candidates. Let's start with Clemson and Alabama. And then I'll throw in, if you like, a couple of outside shots, right? Most people would say Ohio State's on that list right next.
Yeah, could Georgia still make it no matter what?
Right. So I said, here's what you do. This is part of a bigger problem that the college football world has, which is that there ain't too many candidates in a given year. It's only few and far between that have a chance to compete for a college football playoff berth. But 2 seem pretty obvious these days. Alabama is the standard, and then right now from there you'd say Clemson out of the ACC as the most sure things. Right? Wouldn't those be the 2 most sure things? I think so.
Well, I would rate it SEC champion followed by Clemson, but yes.
Yeah.
If you're I mean Alabama
with
is the
Tua
playoff.
starting at Alabama,
yeah.
It's Alabama. So it's Alabama, and then you're going to say Clemson because nobody's ready to challenge Clemson for supremacy of the ACC just yet. Not in their own division anyhow, and we certainly just rightfully summarily dismissed the Coastal. So because if we saw what happened when Miami represented the Coastal last year, they were small children. So I would say that, again, it's the most sure things are Alabama and Clemson.
The biggest threat to Clemson would be us, or do you go by the opponent in the ACC championship game? I mean, we could have one loss here for a one-night winner-take-all type deal in the ACC Atlantic if we just...
It probably would be us since we're hosting the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Miami would make an argument that they've been upwardly mobile since Rick got there. That's an accurate statement. And that if you're going to make an argument for Miami, you're going to say that defense, another year better, another year more experienced, a lot of talent, especially at linebacker. I agree with that. I love their defense. But Malik Rozier is still starting at quarterback the last I checked, and he sucks. He's not any good. So if you're rolling with him out there, you're not beating Clemson, as evidenced by 38-3 or whatever the hell that score was. It was something brutal like that.
Yes.
So
it was forgettable. I turned the game off.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I enjoyed it. But the point would be there's no they got to get better play at quarterback, and if N'Kosi Perry can't beat that kid out, well, good God, he's not the answer either. So they got to figure something out. Therefore, I guess maybe the more compelling argument after we see us will be us. Got to see us first. I'd like to know what we are. I have an idea of what I think we're going to look like. I think areas of strength and weakness we can probably whittle down to a reasonable agreement, you and I would. But I want to see us play. I want to see how the first year path to success lays out, because you're going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have problems. Game day is different than what you do in practice, obviously, and when you're trying to implement a new offense and a new defense, you could have struggles.
Rest easy, buddy, though. Phil Steele told the Front Row Knowles that we have a top 15 offensive line.
Well, you know, it's funny. I dog this offensive line all the time, and I think for good reason. I also, though, in the midst of that, allow for the possibility that they're going to be a lot better. And for two reasons. A, scheme is going to help them an awful lot, I think. And we're not asking the center to be Jesus Christ like we did in the previous offense. B, I would say this, health. I think they're stronger and healthier, and I think we were really, really, for whatever reason, lacking in those areas previous. And I think they were kind of married because we weren't strong enough, then technique suffered, which led to injury, and then you have a problem. So if you get stronger and you get leaner and you get healthier, then obviously you can sustain technique longer and you avoid injuries more frequently. So that's a good thing. So maybe they're a lot better. They're not deep. They're not deep. We know that. And that's an area on the football field that features a lot of injury. So I hold my breath throughout the course of the season that they're going to be something that can be described anything other than a weakness, right? I'll hold my breath. But maybe they're better. Maybe they are. And for the reasons I just gave, I think that's fair. I know that we're going to be better offensively. I don't know how we couldn't. I mean, literally, just roll it out there. We're going to be better offensively. There's just no chance we won't be. And we have arguably one of the 5 most dynamic players in college football in the backfield. So Cam Akers is going to have a huge year. He's going to be in space, and God help people.
Well, and it did appear towards the end of his freshman season that the game slowed down for him to set things up for cutbacks and
took him a while,
moves.
didn't it? But
yes.
yeah, it did. But
but he was so damn gifted at just making the pile move or being a one cut and go guy that he was still
son of a gun,
incredibly productive. Look at the Miami game. You go back and look at that film. It's not a Dalvin Cook fest, even though he broke Dalvin's freshman rushing record. It's not like there's 3 or 4 runs where you go, oh, well, he's beating them with skill, speed, and intellect. It was more about just how freaking talented and freakish he is as an 18-year-old body.
And how he destroyed that poor kiddo on the sidelines.
But then you get a month later, and now it's like, ooh, wait a minute. So he's manipulating his safety while he's at the line of scrimmage, and he has that size. He doesn't even have his man weight on yet, and yet he's a man.
Oh, grown ass.
It's crazy.
Yeah, not having it. He's something to behold, right? That's wouldn't want to tackle him.
No.
It's funny. He's described by Willie Taggart as having the perfect body to play running back. And it's interesting because to look at him, to stand near him and to kind of size up what that would mean, right? You obviously got to have a great lower half, got to be gifted, strong, all that. You got to, stocky, good center of balance. You have to have all these things. He's got quick feet. He's got a lot of things that just go perfectly for the position that he plays. It's why that guy who covered him in high school went on and on, prattled on about Walter Payton-esque stats, right?
Right.
So we'll see. He's going to have a big year. But yeah, that's this all stems from so we were asking, that guy was the YouTuber was asking the question about the 4 teams. I said, if you need me to give you 2 teams that I just are off the radar a little bit, maybe not off the radar, but maybe would be less likely, I'll give you Penn State. Because I think, anytime you have a 15-year starter at quarterback, you have an opportunity to do some things. And then I would also suggest that out west you could go with Washington just to navigate the Pac-12, and maybe just because, they got to survive the Auburn game, I would think. I wouldn't think. They do. They got to win the Auburn game. Here's why. You'd say, well, it's not a conference game, Jeff. Yeah, you lose that game, then you can only lose at best one other game, maybe. And even then, you're really risking it because 2 losses, I don't know. We'll see.
I think if you play that game close and then you run the table from there, or maybe even...
But you'd have to win 11 straight weeks, Tom.
Or you could be a 2-loss Pac-12 champion. I was going to throw that in there as well. Playing that game by itself legitimizes you. We've seen that with the playoff committee. I mean, if you decide to play a team like Auburn, they're going to make an argument for you that your strength of schedule is really tough, and you've gotten better as the season has gone along.
But you got to win the games. And here's the thing: you lose that game, your margin for error is gone because now you're going to lose to a team in the Pac-12 somewhere along the way who, by the way, will not be well thought of because by definition the teams in that league are not.
Yeah, the one thing that they should be afraid of no matter what, and teams that aren't, Clemson or Alabama, although Alabama could fall into this category, you have to be afraid of a second team from a conference making it in for not playing in the conference title game because 2 years in a row we've seen that with Ohio State,
in Penn State,
Ohio State and Alabama. They're insulated from the discussion somehow, some way. So that's the one thing to your side of the argument is you really shouldn't lose that game because what if the Iron Bowl is two undefeated teams?
All right.
Well, they might put in Auburn or Alabama anyway, the loser of that game, independent of what happens in Atlanta for the SEC title.
Yeah, so you know what's cool? We're sitting here on the 2nd of July, and we were right to say it. Next month starts college football, but so does your hyper-focus. It begins today on a Monday. It happens now. This is where we're at, man. July is the month where two things happen. Vacation, which is going to occur for both of us and for most of the people listening to this program if it hasn't already happened, but also hyper-focus turns to football because you're a month away from meaningful football activities, and now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And there's nothing else to look at. You do get a non-football 2-week stretch here that's really fun for me as a tennis guy. I really enjoy watching Wimbledon. For those of you who are all in on the World Cup, you're in the latter stages of that, and that's fun too. I'm watching that as well. But for all intents and purposes, because it's All-Star break coming up, you really just have football to grab your attention. And there's a lot that's there. There's plenty there. Because you have now the speculation about who are the surprise teams and why. So now you have to formulate reasons for these things. It's no longer just, you're sitting around at the bar months out for an interminable offseason throwing spitball and throwing things at the wall. No, you start seeing articles breaking down quarterback, running back depth. You start looking at offensive and defensive lines. You start double-checking on the transfers and who's where and why, what those expectations are. You start really getting a singular focus on people's schedules, which is too much to overcome, which is just right for them, all that stuff.
Yeah, and you have to be in a unique place, obviously, doing all the national work you're doing.
It's fun right now, yeah.
This isn't a year where you're just saying, it's going to be Clemson, Alabama 2, or
No.
Clemson, Alabama 4. You know what I mean?
No, right.
There's a lot going on, and even if you want to stay away from the playoff discussion, what you've done about the SEC having 6 new coaches this year, and a lot of coaching changes around the country, and
21.
Recruiting battles throughout the country as well. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma, really interesting with Texas A&M now in the fold. You have obviously the battle for everything down here in Florida and in Georgia when you talk about Alabama, Georgia, Florida, all that stuff. This is legitimately and objectively speaking a really interesting year.
I think it's the launch of a really strange and fascinating run we're about to go on where the stories change radically from year to year. But what I'd say, Tom, to your point that you're making, and I think you're right, we're just now beginning to kind of draw the outline of a 5-year discussion for a really transformative time in college football. I do think, now listen, your dominant teams are going to be your dominant teams, and the same old names are going to be thrown in the hat every year. But given all those coaching changes and given all those recruiting battles and those that have now thrown their name in the hat that never – I mean, look, A&M has always been under the tent of suspicion. But look at the 2 teams that I say most frequently reside under the tent of suspicion. Texas A&M, $75 million. We are tired of not mattering. We are all in. Screw you making a run at it. And Kelly goes to UCLA, which UCLA is still in the tent of suspicion for me. But let's see. I mean, obviously that guy once took an Oregon program nobody thought much of and made him something.
There's a lot of Julys that we lie to ourselves that it's going to be an interesting year. This is not one of those.
I don't think so.
Because we always believe it. It's like the spring game. This year was different because we actually had 60,000 people and an awesome post game and all that stuff.
It was awesome.
But what is it the case 90% of the time? We're excited when it starts, and then we get to week 2 of spring camp. We're like, nobody get hurt. This sucks. This is the worst ever. Why are we even talking about it? In college football, recent years, July is like, all right, we're on the brink of it. and it doesn't really matter as much as we thought because there's only 2 or 3 teams that are interesting. This year, there's 20 legitimate programs around the country that have something going on. Somebody's coming or somebody's going.
I think that's the thing. It's not so much that I'm able to point to those teams that we're intrigued by and say with each one of them that they're contenders of any kind for a college football playoff, but rather that they have unique storylines. Nebraska's not going to the college football playoff, but Scott Frost in Nebraska is an interesting story. Michigan's probably, now Michigan fans will argue with you because they argue with me these days. Apparently, I've made an meeting with Michigan.
Well, they're the biggest X factor this whole season, right?
Right. Well, they've got a tough schedule, and now they have an expectation, and they're tired. Look, they lost 5 games a year ago. I mean, the man's lost 11 games in 3 years. You're almost averaging 4 losses a season. That is not why they brought Jim Harbaugh there. So rubber meets the road. Let's see something. It's what they're saying in Michigan, and I am too. What are you going to do? You can't beat Ohio State. You don't even win your division. Sure as hell aren't winning Big Ten titles. What are we doing here? So that's an interesting storyline. Ohio State's an interesting storyline by definition every year with Urban Meyer, and they've got a new quarterback, the whole deal. In the SEC, 6 new coaches, as we've talked about. But then, you know, the situation at UCLA that we just said, hey, look, what's USC going to be? I know that's West Coast, and a lot of us yawn right about now, but you know, they're under some pressure to get things going there, too. Washington is the class of the Pac-12 along with Stanford, right? So you mentioned it before, Texas and Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the prohibitive favorite out of the Big 12, of course, but West Virginia is supposed to have a great year. It's about time, Dana Holgorsen. Let's see something. Will Grier going to have a huge year, probably a first-round draft pick, right? That storyline's fascinating. People forget they're in the Big 12. Along with TCU,
right?
We'll see.
Well, yeah, if you're listing X factors for the season, Michigan is probably number 1. West Virginia's right up there. Texas is up there. In a weird way, we're an X factor this season.
I think I was just about to say that. I think we are too because we lost 6 games a year ago. The program was in shambles, but it was not devoid of talent. And so you get a situation where everybody's singing Kumbaya and you put a friendly offense in place for skill position players, and who knows, man, they begin to believe, they begin to play hard, they want to run through a wall for a guy, they got talent.
Well, and an aggressive defense. That's the other thing that gets lost in the shuffle. We all fall in love with the offense, and for good reason, because we've got some superstars that could become household names around the country if we get a couple of landmark wins this year. But defense has to be the key to the season. When this whole change begun, and we were looking at who is going to be our defensive coordinator. Levitt was not available to come here, and then Harlan Barnett was the answer. And you hear him talk about, we're going to fly to the football, we're going to hit, we're going to be aggressive.
Stick somebody.
Right. Maybe defensive ends are actually used to get to the passer once in a while.
Yeah, get him behind the chains, third and obvious. Let's go.
They're the ones that they're going to have to hold down the fort because the scheme isn't very different when you're talking about personnel groupings on the field, the 11 that are on the field. But the offense is going to go through some growing pains. We know that. But if the defense is nasty, you can build off of that with a physical running game that runs right at you, and they do so at a breakneck pace. You can see how an identity is formed really quickly.
Ooh, gives you the tingles right out the gate. Hey, before we go to break, I want to say this. Thanks to Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. They jumped on board. They are an official sponsor of the Jeff Cameron Show. The sponsor of the Jeff Cameron Show. That's right. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. If you don't know, by the way, they're your location for all of your tool needs. It's where all the pros and do-it-yourself workers alike go to shop. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big box pricing with local service, 2 locations to choose from. That's 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open up on Saturdays from 8 a.m. till noon.
Got a unique website, too, ctf.nu. Try that. It'll actually take you where you want to go.
Also, I'm going to end up learning more about tools like a man should than ever before, as I am really a neophyte. I struggle mightily. I can do simple things, Tom. I start usually with things like mowers that I love. And I also can, of course, use a chainsaw, because everybody should be able to.
Or power drill. I mean, come on.
Power drill, I could do that too. But the rest, I got no real shot.
You got to hold it straight.
Yeah. I'm going to be learning. I want to welcome them and thank them. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Now, there will be a mandatory captain's meeting held on Friday, August 3rd at 6 p.m., followed by a free dinner for captains and crew. To register, visit their website, seaquartersmarina.com, or call them at 697-8400.
Tee it up at the Edwin Watts Golf Shop's 4th of July sale happening now. Save big in every department. Trade in your old clubs and get a 50% bonus trade-in value towards your new tailor-made club purchase. Save $30 on the Golf Buddy Voice, now just $99. Take an additional 20% off of closeout golf shoe selections may vary. And when you buy one Puma apparel item, save 10%. 2 items, save 15%. Or buy 3 and you'll save 20%. Get these deals and more only at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Come into Lowe's for July 4th savings and give your favorite space a fresh new look, whether it's indoors or out on the deck. Get $10 to $40 off select paint, primer, and stain. Then invite some friends over to show off your handiwork. Don't forget to get the grill going with a 2-pack of Kingsford charcoal, now only $9.88. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid through 7/11 and via rebate. Kingsford offer valid through 7/4. See store for details.
Summer is heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. Purchase a brushless premium 5-amp-hour hammer drill impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool and a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a $260 value free. Makita introduces one battery, one tool for all your outdoor power equipment needs. Buy a commercial-grade Makita shafted string trimmer and add any other attachment, plus receive a matching blower free. A $189 value for free. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener with 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
Celebrate the 4th with $4 during Aaron's 4th of July event. You heard right. Just $4 gets you started leasing to own top brands in furniture, electronics, and appliances with no credit needed. And as always, there's free delivery and setup. So celebrate the 4th, because just $4 gets you started. Visit a participating Aaron's store or aarons.com. June 29th through July 4th during Aaron's 4th of July event. July 1st and 4th online only. Transaction advertised as a rental purchase agreement. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
It's time to get your chop on as our Atlanta Braves continue to roll through the big NL East battles and into the summer.
The 3-2 pitch, here it comes, and there it goes. It's fair, it's long, it's in the chop house.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey, and by Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee. Head to espntallahassee.com/Braves. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at CTF.
Good Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. Did you see, Tom, one of our friends, friend of the program, Michael Kelly, is now the new athletic director at USF?
It's pretty cool. He was always nice.
I like Mike. Mike, I don't know when it was that not that I care about these things, but I happened to notice it over the weekend because I wanted to see what he had tweeted out after getting the news that he would be the new athletic director. But for years he followed me, even when he disagreed with me vehemently, but he no longer does. So I wonder what I did to piss him off. Or maybe he thought it wasn't very becoming. You know, his situation was such that he needed to be, I don't know, untethered to heathens like myself.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's a wise play.
Yeah, he, he's now there at USF. I wish him luck. Good guy. Always fun to talk to and have a, colorful discussion about who was right and who was wrong regarding the rules in the ACC.
Well, it usually wasn't the mess that he made. It was a mess that
he was
his
cleaning up.
made.
Yeah. Well, and really it was always weird because I think I look back now on that stretch out of the ACC, and most of you will know what I'm talking about. There was a window of about 3 years where the ACC, oh my Lord, made a mockery of officiating in football. The likes of which no other conference was facing. It was bizarre how bad they would screw up. Remember, it became a joke nationally when the ACC Thursday night game of the week would take place that they would be in the midst of a delay of some 8 to 10 minutes while they figured out a very simple rules explanation at something that we all knew the answer to. I mean, time and again, there was a Wake Forest game that stands out in particular one year on a Thursday night where I just threw my hands to the air and went, this is about right. This is, in a nutshell, the ACC and its officials. And Kelly happened to be the guy that had to, just under Doug Rhodes, answer for all of these things on Monday morning. Or in my case, Monday afternoon when he would come on the show, and he was nice enough to do it. But they righted the ship. It's still not great, but it's worlds better from where it was. The ACC really suffered from a level of incompetence that I didn't see rivaled elsewhere. Now you by and large see the same sorts of mistakes across the board at the Power 5 that are frustrating. I still think SEC officials are the best. I think SEC officials go into games with an understanding that football is football and that anything borderline should not be flagged. No, it's not that they don't make mistakes. They do. But they don't side with something I can't say on the air, but let's just say the wussification of football. They don't side that direction.
Well, the ACC officials were taught in a lot of situations, when in question, throw the flag, and that's not just about hits to the head or anything, which is all Power 5 conferences have a hard time legislating hits to the head.
Yeah.
And all of them have their questionable decisions. It's like, what replay are you looking at? But with pass interference, when in question, throw the flag. And that's not the way the SEC is.
Nope.
How many times have we
Play
gone
ball,
down
baby.
to Gainesville once they switched and, we had the one egregious victory where maybe the ACC was kind to us on the road.
Straightforward victory.
You go down to Gainesville and you know it, man. Pass interference probably isn't going to get called either way. That was the beauty of the 2013 game down there in Gainesville with Kelvin Benjamin figuring out by the time we got to the second quarter,
I could throw your ass into the stands.
This is going to be awesome.
Let's get it on.
I prefer these rules, actually. Can we do these rules every week? That would be nice to me.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I often find myself watching games that don't involve teams I even care about. Let's say an Auburn-Georgia game or something like that, and I think, let them play. That's all you ever want to be able to say when you're watching football. Let them play. As long as it's letting them play on both sides, let's go. It is football. It is football, man. This is a rugged game, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, I agree. As long as it's the same standard for the first drive as it will be the final drive, and if you're letting them play early,
let them play.
We get to the third or fourth TV time, I go, woo, okay. Boy, I hope we came ready to play for this tonight.
Buckle up, boys. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I like that, though. I do. I root for that. That's the kind of football I think most people want to watch, and there it is. By the way, I should make mention at some point in the first hour of the program, LeBron James is going to the Lakers. If you hadn't heard by now, hey, everybody, LeBron James has signed with the Lakers. And, by the way, I cracked up yesterday when that announcement happened. I was watching baseball, and over the course of I think it was the second inning, whenever that first broke, across the ticker, it just said LeBron James, it says breaking, LeBron James signs with Lakers. And you know how sometimes there'll be a secondary report about the term of the deal and any quotes that are attributed to either the organization or the player? No, it was LeBron James signs with the Lakers, period. Ticker moves. LeBron James signs with the Lakers, period. Ticker moves. LeBron James signs with the Lakers, period. That just on a loop across the bottom of your screen for 5 minutes while the inning was going on. LeBron James signs with the Lakers. LeBron James. They could have just left it there.
Yeah, left it static.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. I kept going, and what are we waiting on here? Hit enter. Somebody finish that. Let's go. Nope. Boom, boom, boom. repeatedly. And I thought, well, okay, well, at least that's over with. We're done having to talk about that.
It was a curious decision. You know, and
he must. The only thing I can think of is that he's gotten some assurances from players that within the next 2 years they're going to make their way to L.A.
Right, so he's got to, rough it for a year.
He's got to suck this year because they're going to.
Yeah, by the Western Conference.
Well, by
standards.
that standard, yes. Well, you deal with Golden State and Houston, and no, man, they're going to suck.
Houston will be interesting, though. We'll see.
Okay.
They've got to climb that mountain all the way back when they had it right there for the taking. Chris Paul will be game for it, but
yeah, well, I'm not a Harden guy, so he'll have a great regular season.
Yes, he will.
Oh, he will.
Be an MVP candidate, Jeff.
He won the MVP this year, Tom.
That's right, back to back.
Yeah, he could be. He'll be right there for you in that regular season.
It just flies in the face of the idea that LeBron was ready to be surrounded by more immediately and maybe relinquish the effort that he has to put in. I mean, he's going to have to play harder for LA to get them where they want to go, even to the playoffs.
Well, I think it's a testament to the history of Los Angeles, to that franchise, to Magic Johnson, and to all that came before. Yes, that will be a franchise that will largely be associated at all times with the likes of a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a Magic Johnson, a Jerry West, certainly a Kobe Bryant. To some degree, I suppose, Shaquille O'Neal, although I don't put him on that mountaintop with the other great Lakers that I can think of, and there are a slew of them. But I would say that, where LeBron fits in this is never being able to overtake the 80s Lakers, if you would, just triumvirate, just the three megastars on that team, if you want to look at that as James Worthy, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But at the same time, being part of a historical franchise and wanting to end your career in a place that allows you to seamlessly work your way into movies or anything else that you're interested in, I suppose all of that is at play here because you're right. If it were only basketball related, that's not the move. But to me, I'm going to play it out here the last 4 years of my career, figure out what I'm going to do in Hollywood, figure out what I'm going to do post-basketball. I am still a relatively young guy. I am going to play for this historic franchise and see if I can return them to glory. That will be my legacy, along with having won one in my hometown in Cleveland. Not a bad legacy to leave if he's able to pull it off there. But in the interim, getting your head kicked in with Lonzo Ball's sorry ass and the rest of that team, man, that's...
Yes, they will all be the best version of themselves because LeBron is on the court, but that's not enough to win 50 games.
No,
Probably not.
They got to find a way to, obviously they're going to talk to people who, would maybe want to join for the ride, and Kawhi Leonard seems to be top that list.
It really just did seem like when Paul George opted out that he was going to go out there for maybe a couple fewer dollars, and then LeBron is making his decision. He goes there, but it's just... When he said he was going back to OKC, I thought, well, damn, now what is LeBron going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do now?
I was shocked by that news, and it seems like, at least in this case, I was reading a report out of SI, the writer's name escapes me, everybody was in the dark until LeBron made a call yesterday, literally a phone call, saying, all right, let's go with the Lakers. This wasn't something like before with LeBron.
So singular seasons can sway decisions, as is the case in the aforementioned Paul George deal, where he had such a good time out there and thought, no, I'll resign here. I'm good. I'll do that. Now, that's kind of striking, but all right, he chose to do it. So the thought would be, I think, just a guess, that LeBron and Magic are able to woo Kawhi Leonard at the risk of losing him at the end of one season, but getting him there for a singular season, and perhaps he falls in love with L.A. and the experience of playing with LeBron, and they have a better-than-expected year, and he decides to stay in L.A.
It would be about the experience of playing with LeBron, because the really weird thing about the Kawhi Leonard situation is he's a low-key person. He doesn't want to be on every television commercial or billboards.
Maybe he does, man. If you believe his people. I mean, that situation in San Antonio is weird. There were a lot of people coming out of that saying that he did want to go to a major market.
Well, it could be that, yes, his people have changed Kawhi's mind for him, but if you talk to teammates and people around the Spurs, this is what I've read. It's not like I do. But they all say that Kawhi's not motivated by, that pull towards the major market for the endorsement dollars. He just wants to win. So I think to me it would be about playing alongside LeBron more than it would be the glitz and the glam of L.A.
Wouldn't suck. I mean, those two together,
yeah.
You only need about one more decent-ass player to be a real problem for people.
Then a couple of shooters, and now you're on your way.
Yeah. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Home Defense Insect Killer with Wand at the Home Depot and get a free refill. Good news for you. Final notice for bugs. Home Defense kills bugs where they live, where you live, and prevents new ones from moving in, all for up to 12 months. Remember, it's your house. You make the rules. Get a free refill when you purchase Ortho Home Defense with Wand at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Limit 2 per customer, in-store only. Selection varies by store.
Here, do you need headsets?
I don't need no stinking headsets.
Well, then go. Come on, man.
All right. Hi there, Tallahassee. You know me. This is Eddie. You know, I have other restaurants in this town, Gordo's, Banditos. Well, I opened up something new. It's called Bumpa's Local 349. You may ask, what is Bumpa's Local 349? It was named after my grandfather. Bumpa. It's what we called him. Best man I ever knew. And the Local 349 was his union. And I try to bring this local flavor, this local flair of Tallahassee. I want to bring it to you, locally owned and operated. Warm, good food.
Good Lord, man, we're getting all weepy up in here. It's a cool sports pub. It's got TVs everywhere. You got every package. You got a gazillion kinds of beers and delicious food and a deck. We don't need to weep up in here. Come on, Eddie.
And we have 16 local Florida taps. Great craft beer just for you. And the best bologna sandwich you'll ever eat. It's like you just won the lotto. As Bumpa said, no matter how you cut it, it's still bologna.
Bumpa's Local 349, 2738 Capitol Circle Northeast.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Good weekend for the Marlins, Guillermo. The starting pitching was strong this weekend.
You know, you're not going to win many series when you give up 8 home runs, Dan. And
what happened to nice little team that you and Stugotz were arguing for? What happened to nice little team?
You know, Dan, the baseball season has ebbs and flows. Right now, we're in a ebb, I believe.
Yep, it's an ebb.
Ebb of the season.
What is an ebb?
We'll get to the flows.
What is an ebb?
Not a flow.
It's not a flow. It's the opposite of a flow.
They're really bad. No, there are no flows coming.
No, it's ebbs.
No, it's ebbs. It'll only be flows if you think of it like diarrhea. The way diarrhea flows.
When the tide moves away from the land.
The official definition.
As opposed to your official definition, which is not a flow. I asked you what an ebb was, and your response was not a flow.
It's not.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Time now for your Atlanta Braves Minute. Brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey. Personal injury law is all they do.
Sunday afternoon in St. Louis, the Braves completed a 3-game sweep of the Cardinals by a score of 6-5. The Braves offense got on the board in the top of the second as Tyler Flowers reached on a 1-out double and later scored on a 2-out RBI double from Charlie Culberson. Then after Ozzie Albies led off the top of the sixth with a single to center, extending his hitting streak to 11 straight, up stepped Freddie Freeman with 1 on and nobody out.
Hit well, high and deep to right field against that St. Louis skyline. Kiss that thing goodbye.
And the Braves lead it 3-0 here in the top of the 6th inning.
The Braves offense would go on to score 3 more in the inning on a Charlie Culberson RBI single, Dansby Swanson fielder's choice, and sac fly from Ryan Flaherty. Then in the 7th, St. Louis would close the gap with a 2-run single from Francisco Pena and cut the Braves lead to 1 as Tommy Pham drove a 3-run homer to center off Peter Moylan. But in the 9th, A.J. Minter tossed a perfect inning, nailing down his 3rd save in as many opportunities. Braves now head to the Bronx for a showdown with the first-place Yankees starting tonight as Anibal Sanchez gets the nod. And as always, hear the call live right here on the Braves Radio Network. First pitch is set for 7:05 p.m. Eastern. With the Braves, I'm Kevin McAlpin for the Atlanta Braves Radio Network, lit by Louisiana Hot Sauce.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
By the way, I don't know if you saw it, but I always like this. We had a PGA Tour player accuse his playing partner of cheating over the weekend. Yeah, buddy. At the Quicken Loans.
Really? I didn't hear about that at all. I watched a good bit of the Quicken.
I watched most all of it. Molinari going nuts. Sung Kang shot a hell of a round. It was the round of the day at the, well, besides Molinari. He made 6 birdies on the afternoon, played both sides of the course with a 32, so 64 is not a bad day at the office for Mr. Kang. His playing partner, his name was Joel Dahman, and after the round, he accused Kang of cheating. And he did it in the round, too. And in fact, there was so much of a delay as to when the cheating occurred and exactly what happened. It was on the par 5 10th that players behind them played through while they argued.
Is that what started the logjam? Because when players were getting near the turn yesterday, it wasn't just about reaching the par 5 and 2. They were waiting nearly 7 to 9 minutes on average, I think is what they said.
Yeah, these two were involved in a heated debate, and they continued to argue, and a rules official had to come over and everything else, and the groups behind them got so fed up they played through. So you two, go ahead and keep yelling at each other. We're going to play because this is ridiculous. You know I would have been beside myself, Tom. You know how I am.
But for it to get that way at an event
is crazy.
That must have been some interesting exchanges of words from the players that were playing through.
Oh, and
on the way by.
Yeah, and I also think that I wish we could have heard the mics as to what Joel was saying to Sung, because from what I can gather, it wasn't pretty. It started low key, it got elevated, and then it became a problem. Like we may have a fight here. Have you ever seen that? I mean, that's rather remarkable.
I will say on the junior circuit, kids are still learning, and there's some tough moments.
There's some moments where you're like, man,
we want to match.
You can't do that.
We want to match in high school, actually, because the opposing team cheated, and we called them on it. We'd warned them, and then we.
See, you did the right thing. You warned them the first time. You're like, hey, look, you can't do that.
You can't give your playing partner advice on what to hit. And
they were steady doing it.
They did it one hole. And now I wasn't there. This was the league group. But, yeah, that happened once. And then our team captain said, hey, man, you can't do that. So they did it again, and we called it a one-stroke penalty, and then we were in a war. I mean, both teams were on the tee box at 9 yelling at each other. Coaches were yelling at each other. It was a really bizarre experience, but yeah.
All right, so what happened here was the par 5 10th hole was parred by Sung Kang. The debate at that time got so intense and lasted for so long that the pairing behind Dahman and Kang played through. So afterwards, Dahman was asked about what happened, and he said on Twitter to those who were asking him, well, quote, Kang cheated. That's what happened. He took a bad drop from a hazard. I argued till I was blue in the face. I told him about it. I told the rules official about it. At some point, he has to own that or not. He wouldn't. Rules official demanded we play, move on, because it's on you as a player. And they would go back and look at the replay. And Dahman was asked exactly what happened. He said it's a typical dispute about where or if it crossed the hazard, meaning the ball, right? It clearly did not cross the hazard. We went back and forth for 25 minutes. He ended up dropping the ball a lot closer to the green. At that point, there's nothing I can do. If I don't sign the card, a rules official will. I would just be delaying the inevitable at that point, so I stood down. But the point was afterwards, the thing that was shocking for everybody was that it is so rare, even if you suspect it, to have because they know how it's like calling somebody a racist or misogynist or whatever. There are certain labels that you don't publicly come out and call somebody unless you are certain of, because the damage to their career is profound. And in golf, it's all relative, it's sport. But in golf, if you call somebody a cheater or say somebody knowingly cheated on the course, as opposed to accidentally or, hey, man, I think you touched your ball at address there. No, I didn't. My man, I didn't. All right, well, now we can get into this debate about whether you knew you did it or didn't or whatever. But if they think you actively cheated, you're damned for life. I mean, on the tour, you get that reputation, and it's rough.
Yeah, well, and that's, to me, that speaks to there's a reputation for the player in question here, and this guy had enough. I don't know that for sure, but typically somebody's reputation precedes themselves as to watch this guy, look out for him because he'll, take 4 feet extra if he can, that kind of thing with a drop.
The old 4 feet, huh?
Well,
I love the idea of being like, well, we're just going to, well, my man.
That could make all the difference between lettuce and a matted down lie, sure.
Oh, it can be a big, big difference. It can mean everything about being able to clearly strike the ball. Also, it could be in between clubs. It could be a lot of things.
I'll tell you, man, one of my greatest regrets is I've told you this before. I lost a club championship because a kid hit the ball on the other side of the out-of-bounds marker by a good 6 feet, and I didn't call him on it. And I've always wrestled with that in life. I'm like, should I have stopped the match there?
Man, you're OB.
Because he was a friend, but now I'm going to stop the match and it's going to become a thing. Like, do I really want to do this?
Well, and that one is like, hey, there's the OB marker.
He ends up hitting it to 10 feet.
You are OB. That white steak is telling me you're out of bounds. Well, that's not my rule, dude. You're OB.
Right. It wasn't even there was golf course grass and there was like lawn grass, and it was in the lawn grass.
You're in Pete's lawn.
Right.
What are we doing here?
It was on my home hole,
That gigantic white steak and Pete's lawn tells me you're OB.
Yeah, it drains down like a V, and there's the lawn on one side of the course and the other. But, I mean, you got to make a choice there, too, as a playing partner, and I can understand where he's frustrated. If he's in the right, if this other guy's in the right, where he says, at some point I got to stand down. Because it is on the integrity of
it's on the player at that
question.
point. Yeah, I mean, nobody else saw it, and so I mean, they're not following that group, and so then he says, "Hey, look, man, I don't think that's right. I think you need to be over here." He goes, "No, I'm dropping right here." No, man, it's over there.
Dude, you hit that tree 30 yards back. There's no way it could have crossed the hazard up here.
It didn't do that. Yes, it did. I'm dropping right here. All right, now seriously, we both know that it's not possible. You know it, and I know it. Look at this droppity-doo right Oh, that would suck.
Did you ever play board games or sports with somebody who believed the lie?
Like pulled an OJ and just believed they didn't do it?
Right. Or they just, for example, they took liberties and then they told you that it was so. Like nothing happened between now and the end. So one time I played with my buddy in college.
That's like a sociopath, man.
Well, I mean, it's golf, though. But I played with my buddy in college, and he made a birdie putt on 18, and it was after he took several liberties with either mulligans or drops. Or, he's out of bounds, he's dropping, he's hitting 2.
Oh, right. And you're like, that's not
he's
a
like, we
birdie,
tied. I said, you're really going to declare to me that we tied? Is this a joke? And he's like, no, man, I just made the putt. We tied.
Yeah, sure.
You believe this?
Yeah.
I beat him by 10 at least.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then in that moment, again, it becomes, do you want to damage the friendship
irreparably at that point? Yeah.
By calling him a cheater, or do we just move on and say it's freaking golf and we're not even playing for any cash or anything?
That's one of those. That's just one of those you can solve maybe by pointing out that did you move that ball back there at all? Any chance you moved the ball?
Weeks later, I said, well, that was a good tee shot on 10. because it hit a house and he dropped and he's hitting. I was like, wow, you made a 5 from there. Impossible. We would have had to hold out from the fairway after re-teeing. Sorry, very self-serving.
No, I would think that's a toughie, man. That's not good.
That would be good to be a part of the gallery, though, as those guys are going back and forth.
Back and forth. You just don't see it in golf. One thing real quick before we move on with the program here, but the last golf-related thing. Depending on how you look at Tiger Woods right now, you either believe he's on the verge of winning and winning a lot, or you think that he has got a mental block that is going to prohibit him from ever winning until he finds a way past this back nine, oh my God, I'm in contention moment, can't make a putt thing that he's got going on now that is pretty consistent. He's dead last at one point yesterday in putts made inside of 10 feet for the week. He missed, at that time that I saw the stat, and I quickly jotted it down, 13 putts from within 10 feet. And he was in 6th place at that time. So Molinari missed 5 putts inside of 10 feet all week. The difference between the two at that time was 8 shots.
Yeah.
You just, again, when he gets in contention, the moment he's in contention, he got to within 2 shots. I know the final margin's a ton because Molinari just kept on rolling, but at one point he's got a chance to cut it to 2. Once he feels the match pressure, the round pressure of I could win this, we're seeing these become problems time and again. And it's interesting because one way of looking at that is, okay, he's nearly all the way back because he was number 1 in a couple of categories in this tournament yet again, which is remarkable in and of itself. He continued to pound fairways, and when he's in the fairway, he's putting the ball on the green. His distance control with his irons have been very good lately.
Yeah, 6 months ago, this was an absurd thought.
Right. So on the one hand, bit by bit, we're finding elements of the game to contend and win tournaments and, majors presumably. It's falling into place. The tee shots are better. The iron play, distance control is better. Proximity to the hole is better. All these things are better. Short game seems to be intact. No yips that I can see or anything like that like he had in previous comebacks. And on the other hand, that's a hell of a mental hurdle because it's a hell of a thing to get to where you are in contention and then have it all unravel again. And that's when does somebody overcome that? And it's odd to apply that way of thinking to perhaps as mentally strong a golfer as there ever lived.
Right. Well, the thing is, also he changed putters this week.
Well, right. He's clearly searching.
So he's searching for something. I've long said the answer is a new caddy who can read greens for him, so he takes something out of the equation. Just when in doubt, I got to trust this guy because the perfect example yesterday is 10. So 10
he misses that little 1-footer?
Well, he hits one of the great approach shots I've ever seen him hit because it goes 20 feet past the hole and it draws back. It spins all the way back in front of the hole. And then his playing partner has a chip on the same line that his putt is. So there's no doubt that he knows the break. And yet he lines it up incorrectly. He misses on the wrong side of the hole. How is that possible? To me, I think he is so in his own mind about setting a line and hitting it to a line. He needs somebody else's opinion on what these putts are doing.
He might, but 2 of his most egregious misses are just straight yanks. He just pulls them. He just yanks them left, and that's just weird. Inside of 5 feet, it's not a line. You're just pulling the putt.
He's misread some big time putts in the last 2 tournaments.
But he's making a ton of putts from beyond 20 feet, which is really bizarre. It's a Phil Mickelson effect. It's like this guy, yesterday is a good example. He made several for the week from beyond 20 feet. If he's beyond 20 feet, he's pouring them in. But you get him inside of that 10-foot marker, oh, man, I get nervous watching him. I'm like, oh, you're not going to make this. It's like Tom Watson all those years and Phil all those years for whatever. Now, that was never Tiger. It is now. You see a 4-foot putt, you're like, he's not going to make this. He'd be better off this 11 feet. Remember that? We used to do that all the time.
Sure, that's his whole career. He'd have 5 more majors if he could hit.
Unbelievable. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, Your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Fourth during Aaron's 4th of July event. July 1st and 4th, online only. Transaction advertised as a rental purchase agreement. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hey, I'm Jeff Doxey, Realtor for Capital Property Consultants, representing Premier Fine Homes. If you're thinking of owning your own brand new Premier home, call or text me at 850-545-4747 or email me, jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, checking in to see how your summer is starting out. At Kraft Nissan, the deals are already hot with available 0% interest for 60 months on every new Nissan we sell. And all 2018 Frontier pickups have a $1,500 rebate plus 0% interest for 60 months. All 2018 Rogues are $4,000 off MSRP with prices starting at just $21,965. Note, I said all Rogues, not some, are $4,000 off. 2018 Versa S's start at an unbelievable $12,960 for a new car. But the true star of summer is the 2018 Altima. All Altimas, and we have over 60 to choose from, are $6,000 off MSRP. That's right, all 2018 Altimas are $6,000 off with prices starting at just $18,970. And as always, all Kraft Nissans come with our exclusive free lifetime warranty. So before you head off on your summer vacation, head to Kraft Nissan for unbeatable prices. Prices include dealer preparation charge, must finance through NMAC with approved credit, and take delivery from dealer stock.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Neymar, the world's most expensive player, a key for Brazil in the round of 16. Superstar had a goal and an assist. He's got 11 and 19 respectively in his last 19 games for Brazil. The five-time world champions knocked out Mexico with a 2-0 victory. Up next for Brazil, Japan, or Belgium. Mexico, by the way, has been eliminated in the round of 16 in 7 straight World Cups. An MRI on Colombia midfielder James Rodriguez showed his calf injury is not serious. He could play tomorrow against England. If he can't go, forward Luis Muriel will step in. NBA, ESPN's Darren Ravel reporting LeBron James will wear number 23 on the Lakers. He, of course, wore 23 in both of his stints with the Cavaliers. He wore number 6 with the Heat. Spurs star Kawhi Leonard remains adamant about playing for the Lakers now that LeBron has decided to play in Los Angeles. Leonard initially requested a trade. The Spurs, though, hoping to send him to a team in the East if they do make a deal. Paul George's decision to spurn LA for OKC makes a Leonard deal more difficult for the Lakers, believes ESPN's Ryan Hollins.
By Paul George not coming, now there's an even bigger interest to get Kawhi. Who knows that more than anybody? San Antonio. What else hurts them? They're a Western Conference team. So if the deal is even between Philadelphia and even between the Lakers are going to have to pay more. They're going to have to give up more just to get him.
Ryan Hollins on Golic and Wingo. Bucks center Thon Maker, one of 13 players ejected for fighting after a massive brawl broke out between two teams during the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers in the Philippines. NHL, the Flames landed one of the top free agents, signing forward James Neal to a 5-year, $28.7 million contract. Tennis, Serena Williams and Caroline Wozniacki, straight sets winners at Wimbledon.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss things, and that's okay. All 3 hours to be posted upon the conclusion of this program, both to iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can email the show if you like. JCS979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. You want to watch us on YouTube, you can. Go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee. You want to watch on Periscope, you can. Go to @979ESPN Radio on Twitter. JCS@979ESPNradio.com is the email address, and I think we're all caught up. Yay! It's July. Football begins next month. That's right. You heard me correct. Our national nightmare is nearly behind us. That's right. Football begins next month. But that's not what I'm going to talk about right now. I just wanted to share that good news with you in case you needed a reminder. Instead, let's do as we usually do on Mondays. And it's not a downer at all. I don't mean to make it sound that way at all. In fact, I'm excited to do so. He's our good buddy, Ira Schoffel, warchant.com, the website. Hello, Ira.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm well, man. Football starts next month.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that somewhere.
Well, this month, you and Corey and myself will all be at the ACC kickoff. Isn't that exciting?
That's right.
The ACC meetings, right? You forgot.
Yeah, it's in Charlotte, and I think it's funny. It's like that always feels like it's really here.
Now it's time.
Even though practice will still be 10 days after that.
Yeah, but 10 days is nothing when you've been starving. 10 days. Oh, man, it's about to happen. I'm excited. Hey, you wrote something on warchant.com that I wanted to point out for people to read, and it's right up my alley because when I first started in radio in Tallahassee, I used to go, and back then, Ira, not a lot of us spent a ton of time on the internet every morning, but rather actually read a bunch of newspapers every day, right?
God bless you.
Yeah. And, one of those newspapers was I'd always grab just a cursory glance, if you will, sort of grab the USA Today just to see what they were saying. And not a very serious newspaper, obviously, but they would kind of give you a national perspective in sports that way. And they would have the Director's Cup, and they would keep up to date with it, right? And I would always lament that the Noles were nowhere to be seen in this thing. It always pissed me off that, in my mind, lesser-tier universities were having so much success. And, of course, Stanford always seemed to win it because they play every sport under the sun, even some that don't really even look like sports. But now, here we are, and all this and I would bitch about it, by the way. To conclude the story one day, Dave Hart called me, the old athletic director at Florida State, and wanted to talk to me both on the air. He was one of my first guests-wise, and I didn't even ask for him. He just called in because he was listening to the show, and he was tired of me complaining about it. And he basically said he had a plan in place. And when you wrote the article about Florida State's finish in the Director's Cup, finishing in the top 10, and you referenced Dave Hart, it made me smile. It took me back to the beginning of my broadcast career, into a time where there was a vision in place, and it's all paid off. That's a cool story, and it does start with Dave Hart.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I just thought, because it's been 6 years since they've been back in the top 10, and they've been really close. They've been in the top 15 or so in most of these years. There was one year a few years ago where they were back into 22, but for the most part, they've been in the top 15. And but to break back into the top 10, it's always impressive for Florida State to do it, because even now, even after they've added beach volleyball, for a long time they didn't even have 20 sports.
No.
You know, they were trying. They take the scores from your top 20 sports. So, like you said, a school like Stanford that's got 30-something sports, you're cherry picking the 20 best performances to go into that formula. FSU didn't even have 20 sports.
Yeah, they were whooping ass in fencing and synchronized swimming, and I'm like, we don't even play those. I mean,
water polo,
right, exactly. Yes,
and FSU, now does have 20 sports, but all of them get counted. And so now that they're back in the top 10, I just thought it was important to mention that this isn't something that's always happened. Florida State, 15, 20 years ago when Dave Hart took over as athletic director, was constantly not just in the outside of the top 10 or 15 or top 20. They were in the 30s. Sometimes they were in the 40s of Division I schools, which you're talking about, mediocre. Not just not being excellent, you're just kind of average. And that was with a powerhouse football program, a powerhouse baseball program. Basically the big three was where all the emphasis was. And then they made a push, and at some point in the late 90s, and said, you know what, we want to be a comprehensive athletic program. Hired some better coaches, put some more money into the facilities, and here we are now, 20 years later, and there's the argument that they need to be doing more and more and more for facilities, but really, the steps they made 15 to 20 years ago, I think, kind of put things in place for them to have some of the success they're having now.
Yeah, so they win a national title in softball. They have a runner-up finish in beach volleyball. Top 15 performances, as you note in the article, in both men's and women's track and field. And track had been a real strong suit, took a dip, and now seems to be coming back, which is a great thing. Finished 9th in the final standings. They also ranked first amongst the programs in the ACC, so they were best in the entire conference. The next highest finisher was Duke at 11. And as you noted, the Directors Cup scoring is based on the top 20 most successful sports at each school, and we have 20 programs at FSU, and so that's where it stands now. Basically, they all have to be really good or perform at a high level. I think it is interesting, though, that while the idea of having a comprehensive athletic program and being respectable, if not elite, and the majority of those sports is a welcome idea for most. If it comes at the expense of football, people will quickly say, screw tennis, track, and softball. Let's get back to fun and football, will they not?
No, that's definitely there, especially in a situation like what we're seeing right now with this football facility.
Exactly, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, and so the idea of if you're gonna not be able to do what you need to do in football because you feel like you need to do it in these other sports, I think a lot of people would argue that's putting the cart before the horse or whatever it is. I think the philosophy that most people have that, and I think is probably true, is if you fund football and you have success in football, that the residuals will carry the day for some of those other sports. The flip side of it is sometimes, you worry about with football programs that they feel like they need, they kind of become like an asteroid that's like picking up, debris, and it's just kind of like they just need every ounce of energy they can get, and there's not enough for everybody else. So there's a balance there, and you kind of have to find that sweet spot where you're giving football everything it needs, so that because it's the engine that's going to power everything else. But you don't want it to become something where it just sucks everything else along with it and leaves very little for everybody else.
Yeah,
so that's kind of the balance that they've got to walk.
Yeah, it's funny, too. That is the argument that occurred with the previous regime and the current athletic staff. I mean, this was Jimbo Fisher saying, no, man, screw that. I don't care about you being fiscally responsible and making sure that basketball gets theirs and volleyball and tennis and baseball gets theirs. We're the 800-pound gorilla, and if I win and win big, they're going to benefit, so screw them. And then, of course, those who wanted to be fiscally responsible, both with the boosters and within the athletic department, said no. No, that's not the way it's going to work. You're not getting everything all the time right now. We're giving you most of the things that you've asked for. We've done so routinely. Yes, eventually we're going to give you this other facility, but slow your roll. We've got some other things to take care of, and he didn't want to hear it. Is that, in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think, and nobody at FSU ever, from what I've understood from President Thrasher, and I've spoken to President Thrasher, Stan Wilcox, people on the trustees, across the athletic department, nobody ever said, we don't need to do that. It was just how quickly can we get it done. And Jimbo Fisher, of course, didn't want to hear anything other than right now or yesterday. So that was a big issue. But I do think, again, like you look at some of those other programs, and quite honestly, some of the programs, Florida State, if you look at those Directors' Cup standings, some of the programs that Florida State is competing with in football on the football field are not as strong in the Directors' Cup standing. They're kind of take the approach of what Florida State maybe did up until the 90s, where it's football, 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 or maybe the big three. But I think if you can do both, it's just a much better experience, I think, for everybody. Because look, I mean, there are a lot of people who care about those other sports as well. It's not everybody. Football is what's going to bring 80,000 people to the stands. It's going to bring the TV ratings. But there are a lot of fans that and university supporters and faculty and everybody else that do care about the other sports as well.
Always appreciate it, brother. Be well.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, take care. That's IrishFLWarChant.com. Oh, by the way, I should make mention that the Learfield Directors' Cup final standings are as follows. Stanford, shocking, number one. Always are. 557 sports. They're bound to get 20 good ones. UCLA, number 2, same deal. Number 3, Florida. Number 4, Southern Cal. Number 5, Texas. Number 6, Michigan. Number 7, Ohio State. Number 8, Georgia. Number 9, Florida State. And number 10, and people will get a kick out of this, Texas A&M. Oh, by the way, that makes sense because here are the 10 things all of these schools have in common for the most part, and one could argue more so than Florida State in this way. Rich, 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 richer, rich, 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 richer. The coffers, if you will. It's surprising to me when you look at these schools, all of which are in the discussion. And now, remind you, athletic departments typically lose money every year. There are a few who don't. We've been on the list before of those that didn't in a given year. So is Georgia and others. All of these teams that are in the mix, as you see here, Texas, obviously.
We just got good news in that regard, did we not? I think
so. So having said that, it's surprising then, Tom, not to see anywhere in that top 20 a school with money, tradition, and success in some of the non-revenue sports the way that Notre Dame has won. Obviously, they won the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship every year. They're good in a lot of things. Notre Dame was 22nd. Shame, Fighting Irish. That's pathetic.
Ridiculous. You have the Vatican.
They were behind Virginia, Cal, Minnesota, Kentucky. Oh, do you think the folks at Notre Dame are real pleased looking at that list and seeing that Kentucky beat them in anything?
My goodness.
That'll hurt your feelings. What's next? Mississippi? It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Or arrive in this. Make this musical request or this one. So yeah, you can keep drinking the same old, but we think you'll like the exploding fist bump, showing up to the party properly way to lemon lime, right? Mountain Dew Ice. Clear, refreshing lemon lime, redefined.
The holidays are coming. Well, in a few months, and that's why now is the time to shower up with a beautiful custom bath or shower enclosure from Widden Glass. Don't wait for the holiday rush. Widden Glass will take care of you this summer to your complete satisfaction. They've been helping to design and install bath and shower enclosures for Tallahassee homeowners for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with real glass people, experienced, reliable professionals. Widden's top-of-the-line bath and shower enclosures provide style and luxury at an affordable price. With the holidays coming, that means family, and that means now is the time to shower up with style.
Call today. Widden Glass, the real glass people. 222-5781 or online at widdenglass.com. WHIDDON. Widden, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. 222-5781.
Did you know that nearly every American sports team has at least one chiropractor on staff? They know that taking care of the spine and extremities is directly related to performance, and that's what we do at my office every day. I'm Dr. Rob with HealthSource Chiropractic, and it's my passion to restore health and optimize the lives of my patient family members. We use evidence-based methods with high-tech, simple science techniques to provide measurable results in the shortest time possible so you can get back to doing what you love. Don't just take my word for it. Read any of our over 100 5-star reviews. Call HealthSource today, 877-8980.
4th of July pool party. Shopping.
Up to 60% off select swimwear for the family at JCPenney. Need I say more?
Ooh, better get matching towels.
Only $3.99 Home Expressions bath towels. Red, white, and cool.
Hurry into JCPenney for the 4th of July event. Hot summer deals plus $10 off your $25 purchase with coupon. JCPenney, style and value for all. Coupon valid 7/2 to 7/8. Exclusions apply. See store at jcp.com for details.
The Braves are putting the National League East on notice as they continue to play strong baseball as we roll into the summer.
Hit in the air and hit well. Left field and deep. And way out of here into the upper deck for Ronald Acuna's first Major League home run.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by AmeriGas Propane of Tallahassee, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
.979 ESPN Radio. You guys have shown me numerous times in which, or footage, clips from ABC News here, amongst other outlets, in which this woman, this dumbass, is reaching over in Western Australia to feed a shark while in the water. It bit her hand and pulled her into the water. She suffered a fracture and torn ligament. And I said, thin the herd. I wish it had continued to drag her out to sea. On camera. Maybe not. I don't wish for that. But had it happened, I wouldn't have lost sleep. Because it's what happens when you're in the ocean feeding a shark by hand. Stop being a dumbass. And then don't turn around and blame the shark.
There's a very simple rule of life that I learned from our mutual friend Mike, and that is don't be stupid. If you apply that across the board, you'll be okay.
It's so simple there, man. Yes.
Don't be stupid.
You're standing off the edge of a boat, knee-deep in water, feeding a shark by hand, and it grabbed, because it's not discerning, your hand.
You're being stupid.
What do you think's going to happen, Slick? She's lucky it just fractured her finger and tore her hand, or what? I mean, whatever it did, didn't do anything too much. They were able to get her back on the vessel. She didn't die.
She's lucky she's not Luke Skywalker, man. bam, gone.
Yeah, I root for those kinds of things. I usually, it's a thin the herd mentality that I've had for years. I mean, if you're in nature, it's like you're messing with bears and then the bear attacks and everybody goes, oh, that's terrible. No, it's not. That's what happens. It's when lions jump off the chair and stop dancing for you. Ooh. That's the deal.
That video of that guy, the old guy.
That was a toughie.
Oh.
That was a mistake. That was a fatal mistake.
Yes, it was.
But it was a mistake.
Let's see what's in his fecal matter.
Yeah. Well, the worst part is if you pause it at the moment of dual recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's him looking at the fecal matter with the lion's back turned. And then the lion, because he hears commotion, goes, wait a minute. And it's his recognition that you're not behind a fence. And it's the man's recognition that the lion knows, I'm not behind a fence. And there's about a second where both are making a decision. And unfortunately for the old man, the lion has made his decision. And I'm old. And I have got to be fast in a situation when I cannot be fast because I am old. We are done. And nature wins again.
And it's a very important lesson that, I check your timeline to see if there's anything interesting. It's a good, secondary source in case something like this comes up. Shark drags a lady into the water.
Yeah.
But now I know that the internet is such that, and the listeners are such that they don't need any warning material here. They're just going to show some brutal stuff to you.
Oh, they send it all the while.
I thought it was going to be a ha-ha funny video, and then this guy is just getting mauled by a lion.
Well,
and he's
you
dead.
don't see.
No, but he's pleading for his life. I was like, ooh, this is heavy duty.
Yeah, that's a toughie. I don't know if I heard the audio. I just saw him get dragged. He quickly got dragged.
He did. He got kind of snapped around, but then he's pleading for help.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
You didn't know that?
I did not.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, that's
I didn't hear the audio. I just saw him get dragged. You know what I am amazed by? Remember the woman that got into an argument with her friend, and it was, I don't know where they were. Two middle-aged Asian women are yelling at each other as they were going through a lion park or whatever it was. This is like a year ago. People sent us this video. You can find it online. I didn't know that they had gotten into an argument, but that's what you found out later on. They were arguing in the car, and it's a drive-through park where the animals are wild. They're all around you.
So it's a safari vehicle, open air kind of thing?
No. The doors are shut. No, you're driving through, and there are lions and giraffe and other things, and they're all kind of just there. Seems like a pretty crazy place. But nonetheless, the lady is mad at the other lady, so she gets out of the car. She's like, I'm walking. No. That's not what you do in this park, honey. And a lion is not having it. And what I was blown away by was that it quickly dragged her into the woods. In one fell swoop, it's just bada! And she is off her feet. Okay, so last week I showed you the video of all those WWE guys trying to win a tug-of-war match.
The lion has leverage there, given the angle of the rope, but yes.
But it is just a lion holding on to the end of a rope with its mouth, and these are very large gentlemen trying to pull it back, and the lion's not even moving. He's not even he's just like, what? What are we doing here? You guys got nothing.
That's my rope.
I'll be here for an hour. I mean, you keep pulling if you want to. But there was no, and the lion is just assured that he's not going to move. And I thought, well, if you need another example of just how damn strong lions are, we've now got several in the last year and a half videos of people just getting destroyed by lions. But I've got a rule in life. I'll never be in that position. It'll never happen. You're not going to see me there in that situation ever. A lion's not getting Jeff Cameron. It's not happening. I could die many other ways, some of which might even be humorous to you, but they are not going to be in the jaws of a lion.
Not unless you move to San Diego and the zoo gets broken out of, hops over a fence.
Something bizarre.
You've got to be kidding me.
I would actually laugh in the moment. I would crack up. I'd go, okay, this is how it ends. All right, come get me. This is ridiculous.
I've had a code my entire life to stay away from sharks and lions, and I'm going to get down by a lion.
But I break my code on the sharks all the time. I go in the ocean and swim all the time. I'm not that kind of fearful. I know the chances are pretty slim. It could happen, and it would suck, and I'm not a big fan of the idea of going out like that. But I'm not going to be in a lion's den. I'm not going to be out in the open air where a lion can grab me. I'm not getting out of a car in a drive-through, and I'm certainly not going to go check out the fecal matter of a lion when I'm not behind the cage while he's just 5 feet away from me. That's just asinine.
What is he doing?
Yeah, I mean, if I had known about the cries for help, that's a bit much. But that said, I mean, Sir,
and then
sir.
then the line goes away,
And then comes back.
Well, I didn't see that part.
Yeah, he comes back.
But
It's over.
then there's replies, and I'm thinking to myself, what happened to the guy? And then
he's dead.
He's dead. Well, great. What did I just watch,
You
man?
watched an old man get killed by the lion. How, by the way, lickety split though, didn't he? That lion was
After his pleas,
it was over pretty quick though.
He got taken to the ground and whipped, and he was still alive. That's
So
the hard
he
part.
had some time to think about it.
Oh yeah.
What a poor decision I have made here today, folks.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Hey, this is Wendell Parker of Parker Brothers Roofing. Most startup companies go out of business within their first 3 years. It takes years of experience for a roofing company to be exposed to and learn all the things that can go wrong. Don't gamble your valuable home to an inexperienced roofer. Parker Brothers has been in business in the community since 1995. Give us a call now at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
TGC 042221, CCC 049350.
Summer is heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Purchase a brushless premium 5-amp-hour hammer drill impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool and a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a $260 value free. Makita introduces one battery, one tool for all your outdoor power equipment needs. Buy a commercial-grade Makita shafted string trimmer and add any other attachment, plus receive a matching blower free. A $189 value for free. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener with 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
The Southside Farmers Market at the Walker Ford Community Center, located at 2301 Pasco Street, is now open every second and fourth Thursday of each month. Join the City of Tallahassee and shop local foods. Enjoy live entertainment, cooking demonstrations, and free health screenings. Everything from seasonal fruits and vegetables, seafood, and more will be for sale by our local farmers and vendors. Sip a smoothie and see what the market has to offer. So head to the Southside Farmers Market every second and fourth Thursday. To learn more about the market and its future dates, visit talgov.com/farmers market. Join the City of Tallahassee at the Southside Farmers Market at the Walker Ford Community Center, 2301 Pasco Street, every second and fourth Thursday.
Come into Lowe's for July 4th savings and give your favorite space a fresh new look, whether it's indoors or out on the deck. Get $10 to $40 off select paint, primer, and stain. Then invite some friends over to show off your handiwork. Don't forget to get the grill going with a 2-pack of Kingsford charcoal, now only $9.88. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid through 7/11 and via rebate. Kingsford offer valid through 7/4. See store for details.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Neymar, the world's most expensive player, a key for Brazil in the round of 16. Superstar had a goal and an assist. He's got 11 and 19 respectively in his last 19 games for Brazil. The five-time world champions knocked out Mexico with a 2-0 victory. Up next for Brazil, Japan, or Belgium. Mexico, by the way, has been eliminated in the round of 16 in 7 straight World Cups. An MRI on Colombia midfielder James Rodriguez showed his calf injury is not serious. He could play tomorrow against England. If he can't go, forward Luis Muriel will step in. NBA, ESPN's Darren Ravel reporting LeBron James will wear number 23 on the Lakers. He, of course, wore 23 in both of his stints with the Cavaliers. He wore number 6 with the Heat. Spurs star Kawhi Leonard remains adamant about playing for the Lakers now that LeBron has decided to play in Los Angeles. Leonard initially requested a trade. The Spurs, though, hoping to send him to a team in the East if they do make a deal. Paul George's decision to spurn LA for OKC makes a Leonard deal more difficult for the Lakers, believes ESPN's Ryan Hollins.
By Paul George not coming, now there's an even bigger interest to get Kawhi. Who knows that more than anybody? San Antonio. What else hurts them? They're a Western Conference team. So if the deal is even between Philadelphia and even between the Lakers are going to have to pay more. They're going to have to give up more just to get him.
Ryan Hollins on Golic and Wingo. Bucks center Thon Maker, one of 13 players ejected for fighting after a massive brawl broke out between two teams during the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers in the Philippines. NHL, the Flames landed one of the top free agents, signing forward James Neal to a 5-year, $28.7 million contract. Tennis, Serena Williams and Caroline Wozniacki, straight sets winners at Wimbledon.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Are there teams in the ACC, Tom, that we don't discuss besides Here Comes Virginia?
I was wondering what that was.
That was so well. Our first.
Wow, yeah.
In July, and it was mid-tour.
And frankly, you didn't tell me it was coming, and it ain't football season yet.
I didn't know it was coming either. It just hit me.
That was November form.
That was. We've already gone through the, we went through the Alps. That part of our tour is already over, so we're ready to roll, clearly. So I'll just say, besides Virginia, any teams you worry about for football and say, bless their heart, give me a tough go this year for them. For example, if you were just to assess their quarterback situation, you feel like, obviously, Clemson's in great shape. Even a place like Syracuse is in good shape with Dungy returning for year 17. And then NC State with Finley's really good. Obviously, we're set with 2 quarterbacks in the way of Francois and Blackman. And Daniel Jones is pretty decent at Duke, I guess. So we start looking at schools like this, Miami's in trouble at quarterback, but they may be okay elsewhere enough to get by. Obviously, they were a year ago. But I'm very, very intrigued to see what North Carolina does this year because I think Mr. Fedora is about to get told to have a good day.
Yeah, you got North Carolina, Wake Forest lost their quarterback. I think Virginia's in better standing than Wake. I think they should finish ahead of North Carolina as well, right?
Well, Bryce Perkins is the quarterback there. He is, I found this out by way of David Hale over the weekend, the 13th different quarterback to start a game for the Hoos in their last 14 seasons.
Searching for stability.
Searching. Yeah, I think Wake is probably in the worst case scenario. Kendall Hinton. But he doesn't, he can't, by the way, he's got the Jameis Winston put upon him. He's got 3-game suspension before he can start.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so Wake is toughy.
over under 3.5 wins for Wake this season.
Their offensive line's a lot better. They're well coached. Got to look at that schedule. I don't know. It's a tough call. I'm about to look at all the schedules yet again as I reassess.
The old Wake Forest W's and L's.
Mm-hmm. I worry about Virginia, man. I thought they were going to turn around dramatically, and maybe they do. Maybe they do. They weren't terrible. Give me Virginia. You want to do the Here Comes Virginia schedule?
The Virginia wins and losses, W's and L's. I'm pulling up their schedule.
Have
we done this before?
Yeah. We do it a lot because we have a soft spot in our heart. I'm going to be up in Charlottesville. I have a chance to talk to the fine folks on the campus at Virginia, beautiful campus that it is with the blinding beauty of Charlottesville, Virginia. My nephew is at UVA Law, so I'm going to go there and see him and say hello, and then go on up to D.C. and see some other friends. Got some things I got to do, Tom, but that's going to be the July plan. And when I'm there, I'll ask the Virginia people on their thoughts of the upcoming season. I'm sure they'll be somewhat delusional. But I think we said the last time we did this, Tom, that the key game was Richmond right out the backs, right? Because they got the Spiders in week 1.
Yeah. Don't sleep on the Spiders.
I root for Richmond to do well on a regular basis for some reason.
They always give somebody trouble.
I just
out
like
of the
that
Power
they're the
5.
Spiders.
There aren't enough Spiders, are there, out there?
You know what I saw over the weekend? It, the remake of It.
Why?
Stephen King's It. It was on. I was flipping around. It was well thought of. It was reviewed well. I thought, oh, okay. I saw the original, corny It. Storyline doesn't really hold up, but, I watched it. There are a couple of spooky things.
Well, man, I have to say the trailer was very spooky.
Oh, they did a good job with the trailer.
I saw it in no fewer than 4 movies a summer ago. I was like, enough with the It thing, because it doesn't just freak you out with what's on the screen, but it assaults you with the loud noises in the movie theater, and you're like, my ears, man, can we not do this?
I do love the idea of the clown being down in the gutter there, and then the one behind the sheet where the sheet's blowing, and then all of a sudden you see his head. You're like, oh.
You'll float too.
Yeah.
You'll float
too. You're like, oh, no, this is not good.
Demon children, man. I don't like demon children, especially young girls.
So The Shining messed with you big time with the 2 girls on the bikes at the
twins?
end. Were you just messed up for years?
Dude. Well, it all started with The Ring, and it never stopped. I realized that, this is every movie, every scary movie.
So demon children got you messed up, yeah.
Demon child with the seaweed hair, because it's always wet.
Mm-hmm. The 2 girls on the bikes messed me up all those years ago. It occurred to me over the weekend that parents didn't parent much when I was growing up in the 70s and early 80s. You just were literally left to your own devices. And when cable became this thing that people got or could steal, then they weren't aware that there was stuff on there, man, that people that are 7 and 8 and 9 years old ought not watch. And The Shining became one of them. I saw that movie no fewer than 20 times. And I was a kid. Imagine a kid seeing The Shining.
Oh, man.
And I did.
It's too much.
Between that and The Hills Have Eyes, the original.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you used to compete with yourself to continue to watch it.
Oh,
because
to see if you could hang in there.
Right. Halloween when I was very little.
The original Halloween?
The original Halloween.
I love that movie. Still love that movie.
It
kicks ass.
It's the bass line of the organ, man. It puts you on edge right away.
Yeah.
Oh, and it took everything. Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Everything I had just to stay focused on it, and I knew that it was going to freak me out.
It was the first thing I ever learned how to play on piano.
Oh, really?
I still play it for my kids just to spook them out. It is just freaky.
You should have Christy play it one morning, like Halloween morning, and then you have the mask on.
Oh, well, good Lord.
And you wake up Bryce.
This segment went from Here Comes Virginia to just a morbid, sad, scary
Did your parents never play any pranks on you when you were a
like
kid?
That. Not where they were dressed up as Michael Myers. No, that would be a bit much. I love that film, though. I still do. If it comes on, I watch it. It's really well done. And there's because of when it was made, like
very subtle.
Well, and the filter on the camera, everything about that time period was weird. The 70s were freaking weird, man. Early 80s, 70s, the bleed over there is weird.
But the great thing about a movie like that is it lets you choose what's happening.
Oh,
the subtext,
the
psychological closure of it.
Right at the beginning when they're walking and there's the hedges that come out to the street, and they turn around, you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
No, that was a dude in a mask.
What's he doing?
What the hell is that about?
What is he doing?
Yeah, the first time you see him, you're like, oh, no. And I would have moved. We are out. I'm not going to check it out. I'm like, who's there? No, there's no who's there.
What, there's a legend about this guy?
We are gone. We are moving to Saskatchewan. We're not going to be anywhere near here.
The thing was, it could have happened a lot easier in the 70s, too, in reality.
Oh, well, right. People just got gobbled up. They had no idea what happened to them. Kids go missing in Kansas. They had no idea. Well, Mary died. What are you going to do? Bigfoot got her. I don't know what to tell you. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
We're your one-stop shop for trimming out your truck and car concepts. People with their cars, we're number one by far. Exterior accessories, lift kits for your mud needs. Mud tires, nice wheels, everyone will get a deal. Window tinting, that's a must. Come on out and visit us. Truck and car concepts. We're your one-stop shop, we always aim to please. Truck and car concepts. Everything is here from A to Z.
Is your car's AC keeping you cool? With Tallahassee's summer season here to stay, stop in now to any auto and tire super service center and take advantage of their $69 AC recharge special. That's right. Visit any auto and tire super service center and recharge your car's AC for just $69, keeping you and your family cool all summer long. Visit any of their 5 auto and tire super service centers, locally owned and operated for nearly 40 years.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Well played, sir. It's a money segment. I'll get to Roger Federer in a moment. 36 years old, doing some things, not just on the tennis court, but off the tennis court, where we have a groundbreaking deal, the one that I think will become the standard for gear and those that want to sponsor you while you wear it. Holy moly. Let's go back to something that happened a little over a week ago that we kind of glossed over because more details have come out since regarding Lane Kiffin's deal with FAU. It's a real coach-friendly deal, obviously. 2 money stories here. We all know that if the If a school offers the former Tennessee and Southern Cal coach, along with Raiders head coach, think about that resume. He was the Raiders head coach, Southern Cal's head coach, Tennessee's head coach.
And he's not 70 years old. Yeah,
it's crazy. OC at Alabama. Obviously, well thought of when it comes to acumen. Not so well thought of when it comes to, I don't know, morals, ethics, loyalty, scruples. He's been...
But for those 60 minutes.
Right.
And all the game planning that leads up to those 60 minutes.
You like what he puts together.
You want that guy in your foxhole.
So if a school offers him a chance to return to the Power 5, the buyout is just $2 million. If he wants to leave before December 31st, 2018, it's $1,500,000. If before December 31st, 2019, it's just $1 million. If before December 31st, 2020, it's $500,000. Get to 2021, and the remaining 6 years in the contract aren't even mentioned. It's like these years. Man, just go ahead. It's just,
you're not going to be.
You're not going to be here by that time. Now, that's nothing, obviously, compared to the astronomical buyouts around college football. But even with the success Kiffin has brought to FAU, might be a year or two before a bigger program is ready to take a chance on him, although his name came up again already this offseason, as one might think. It would make sense, given that he won 11 games. He can coach.
Right. We need him to take the USC gig again.
That's right, before the Florida job comes open again.
That's right.
Yeah, because you and I completely agree on this. He's waiting for the Florida job. He's sitting there hoping Dan Mullen struggles, and then the Florida job's his. And they were alleged to have looked at him even for a half a second anyhow. So I think the desperation level for Florida will be such that they don't care about reputation. If Dan Mullen fails, they will have had a succession of a lot of failure. Just failure abounds at that place all of a sudden. They would have to get a guy.
So we're rooting for, 8-4 from Florida this year, so that Mullen is not on the hot seat in 2019, but rather it would be until 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Keep it moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
As previously reported by multiple outlets which obtained the details of the contract, Kiffin's new deal is worth $9.5 million. He also receives an annual retention bonus of $50,000. But there are several cool incentives, the highlights of which include $20,000 for making the Conference USA title game. Just $20,000. There you go, buddy. Here, just, do what you will with that. $40,000 if you win it. $100,000 for being named National Coach of the Year. $1 million for finishing the year as a top 10 team. Now, they're not going to, but $1 million to finish in the top 10.
Well, this is one of those deals, too. By reputation, if they're undefeated, they'll be that team that everybody argues it for. They'll say, well, I mean, why not have a group of 5 team in? Why can't FAU be that team?
I'll tell you this much. If this sounds crazy, but if I'm Kiffin and I win 10, 11 games, and I've got something going there where I can win the Conference USA on a regular basis, and my salary is such that I'm very comfortable, let's not act like living in Boca sucks. I mean, they're in Boca. If you can build a long-term success plan at FAU and live in Boca as a multi-millionaire on the water as he does and spoke openly about recently in an interview,
yeah,
why are you leaving? I mean, come on, man.
Well, there is an outside shot, right? Because obviously that's a media market. If you attach it to Miami, that's very attractive to, say, something like the Big 12 if they wanted to further an expansion east or something along those lines. He already has the Dan Le Batard show in his back pocket because he had them on the sidelines for a game this year. He does regular interviews with them.
So he's got it down. He knows the deal.
Well, he knows how, yes, and he's a national name before he even works hard for his own PR take. I don't think he will.
I don't either. I'm just saying, man, that is a cool deal. You build that. The only thing I can think of that's similar that did happen for 2 different coaches, Boise. Ain't nobody going to Boise State ever. And then it happened, and it got built up, and the next thing you knew, I mean, it ended up being Chris Peterson. But, I mean, he parlayed that into the Washington job and was all set. But that was a national program. It was a big damn deal. I mean, I think in a little bit of time, Boise would have ended up in one of those major conferences.
Yeah, I mean, right now FAU has its slot, man. If they're on a Friday night, you're going to tune in. You're more likely to tune in than you ever would have been, and it's because of Lane Kiffin. It's because he's got his arms in the sky before they complete a 60-yard bomb down the field. You're like, this freaking guy.
He's ridiculous.
He's Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
He's Shooter McGavin, college football coach.
So now we move onward to Roger Federer, whose long-term deal with Nike is kaput. It is over. And don't shed a tear for Roger Federer. That's all right. By the way, if I'm Nike, I'm getting a little concerned. I'm losing people like Tiger Woods and Roger Federer. This has to stop. I mean, that's a bit of bleeding. You know, they ended up basically undoing the Nike brand on the tour. They don't make clubs anymore. You can wear shirts, obviously, and many do, and shoes, but the Nike brand is really kind of way down on the ladder.
Yeah, they were getting their butts whooped.
Yeah.
So they said enough with this.
Yeah, we're not making enough money here. I mean, we're not going to outshine FootJoy, and we're not going to outshine TaylorMade, and we're not going to outshine Ping, and we're not going to outshine Titleist, that's for sure. So you can just go on and on. I mean, there's a lot of brands were kicking their ass.
Right, yeah. TaylorMade Callaway golf balls, Callaway clubs, TaylorMade clubs. I mean, they've all lapped them.
Bridgestone balls.
Yeah, Bridgestone as well.
Bridgestone as well. So Roger Federer, now the latest to leave Nike, the 36-year-old walked out this opening round match at Wimbledon, which, by the way, underway 2 weeks of goodness right now. It starts with Wimbledon. Love it. And he's wearing a brand you've probably never heard of. It's from Japan. It's called Uniqlo. And he is wearing Uniqlo. He has been with Nike since 1994. He is still wearing Nike shoes for now. Does not have to, though, but did for this opening round match. Imagine that when Uniqlo can get some kicks on him, they will. As for now, the rest of everything he's wearing is Uniqlo. The deal is worth $300 million, and it is all guaranteed over 10 years. And this is the unprecedented clause that makes you raise an eyebrow and really will be now what everybody goes for if they can get it. Who knows if they can? Obviously, Federer, an all-time great, is in a position that many others aren't. He collects the money regardless of whether or not he ever plays. So if in this, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, particular run of 2 weeks at Wimbledon, he is to tear the ACL or shatter his foot or whatever it might be that does not allow him to compete at a high level again at his age, he could choose to walk away from the game for a legitimate injury that would not allow him to compete as he's accustomed to. And they got to pay him $300 million. He could fall down the damn steps, whatever it is.
He could retire.
He could walk away and say, I don't want to play anymore. $300 million. That's ridiculous. In his career on the court, he's made $116 million. They're giving him $300 million, 10 years guaranteed, whether he wins another tournament the rest of his life or not, whether he even plays. That's absolutely insane. Now, obviously, this deal is also unique because it allows for patches to be put on the shirt. So Uniqlo gets the major sponsorship.
Prominent placement, yes.
But if they want to sell themselves to somebody else and get a patch on the shoulder or on the other side of the shirt away from they can do that too. Oh, well, my goodness gracious, I'd be a walking billboard. If the product was something that I agreed with and it wasn't being made in a sweatshop somewhere, sure, come on board, let's go. I like yogurt. You want your yogurt brand right here? There you go. Noosa or whatever it's called. There, right on my shoulder.
Two Hearted. There it is.
Yeah, Two Hearted. You know it, buddy. You want to pay me $100,000 to put a little can of Two Hearted right there? Let's roll.
It's a
big
can.
Red.
It's
That'd
not
be
even the font. Yeah.
Oh, I would love it. In fact, I'd almost demand that. Apparently, tensions were high between Federer's agent, Tony Godsick, which is a great name, and Nike. And he wanted more money. He was telling Nike, look here, man, we're Roger Federer. That RF is selling some things. And Nike went, man, we're not giving you $300 million. And they said, Uniqlo? Well, have a good one. You take it on down to Uniqlo then, because we're not doing it. And, oh, by the way, for the moment, we're not giving you your RF. We've got the rights to that. Now, this is what he said about that. So the RF logo, quote, is with Nike at the moment, but it will come to me at some point. He said this after the 6-1, 6-3, 6-4 victory today over Lajovic. That guy. He's easy to beat.
Yeah, well, the qualifiers, you know.
I hope rather sooner than later that Nike can be nice and helpful in the process and bring it over to me. I got to tell you, I don't know about how nice and helpful I'm going to be when you roll on Big Rivers to Uniqlo.
I'm wearing your shoes, aren't I?
That was the mea culpa. It's also something that was very important for me, for the fans, really. Look, it's the process, but the good news is that it will come to me at some point. They are my initials. They're mine. The good thing is it's not theirs forever. In a short period of time, it will come to me. Obviously, we also need to figure out with Uniqlo when at what point we can start selling clothes for the public as well. All this has just gotten underway. We're hopeful the beginning of next year people can also start buying my stuff. For the moment, as fast as retailing as they are, as great as they are, it just needs a bit of time. All right. Uniqlo, by the way, too rich to match with that offer. The brand is projected to pull in, I've never heard of Uniqlo, they're going to pull in $29 billion in revenue by 2020. Nike is expected to be closer to $40 billion, but if you think about it, Uniqlo's new, $29 billion, $11 billion off of Nike by 2022 or by 2020.
And what they're trying to do is throw their hat in the ring, and this is one move to do so. You would know the logo if you saw it.
I saw the press conference, and he's wearing the Uniqlo
the little red box.
Yeah, I just don't really recall looking at it too much.
I think some golfers do wear it. Obviously not the headliners.
I would imagine those in Japan do. But I would say this, I did not know this either, and they picked a bad time to sign on. They originally had another gigantic superstar in the world of tennis, and that was Novak Djokovic.
That's where I've seen it.
That's where you've seen it. Yeah, they had Novak Djokovic, but the problem is Djokovic sucked in the time after he signed, got hurt, couldn't win a damn thing. The deal ended in 2017, and both parties chose to take it on down the road. When they say both parties, I think they mean Uniqlo said, go to hell. You have done nothing for us, man. As soon as we signed you, you just stopped winning at all.
Thanks for the grand slam on the way in. Yeah, that was worth it.
I mean, dang, they got to be angry, right? That's a toughie. We're going to sign Novak Djokovic, #1 player in the world. He's going to kick ass. Our brand is going to be everywhere. Soon, everybody's wearing Uniqlo. Djokovic is reporting slight discomfort in his lower back. That's all right. He'll bounce back.
Well, it's not like Nadal and Federer are coming back anytime soon.
Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Then in the 7th, St. Louis closed the gap with a 2-run single from Francisco Pena and cut the Braves' lead to 1 as Tommy Pham drove a 3-run homer to center off Peter Moylan. But in the 9th, A.J. Minter tossed a perfect inning, nailing down his 3rd save in as many opportunities. Braves now head to the Bronx for a showdown with the first-place Yankees starting tonight as Anibal Sanchez gets the nod. And as always, hear the call live right here on the Braves Radio Network. First pitch is set for 7:05 p.m. Eastern. With the Braves, I'm Kevin McAlpin for the Atlanta Braves Radio Network, lit by Louisiana Hot Sauce.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss things. When that happens, remember you can get caught up at your leisure. All 3 hours to be posted upon the conclusion of the program right here on our website, ESPN Tallahassee. Also on YouTube and iTunes. It's everywhere. Find it, click on it, watch it, enjoy it. Hello, YouTubers. Speaking of which, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. If you want to Periscope the program, you can. Just go to what is that? The Twitter? Yeah, that's what it is.
The Twitter page
at 979 ESPN Radio
and such.
There you go. You can do it that way too, and you'll be able to watch. You know what? Hey, we're caught up in the World Cup. I get it, and the big LeBron news going to the Lakers, which kind of makes me sad because I hate the Lakers. But that said, I'm less interested. You can't keep me – like the NBA can try to do what the NFL does with this entire – you own the offseason. It's a year-round thing. But it doesn't work with me, man. The second those finals are over, I am shutting it down. I'm not paying attention to a damn thing with the NBA. I barely pay attention to the NBA when it's in the midst of the playoffs, given that it's gotten so damn predictable and everybody wants to play on a super team. Just stupid.
Predictable is right. I listened to the opener for Stephen A. I figured if,
it's his time to shine.
If there's any day, this would be the one,
this would
especially.
be the day.
And he's running down team by team because he's got to do like 24 minutes in the first segment of each hour. So, when it's monologue radio, that's a little rough. So he's going team by team in the Western Conference, Eastern Conference. And it's just, you're right. It's Boston versus Golden State until something crazy happens, like Kawhi Leonard is acquired by the Lakers. It's Boston versus Golden State, and that's just the way it's going to be.
The Sixers might have something to say about that, but that's the intrigue, right? That's the matchup. Other than that, we're done.
Right.
I mean, Cleveland's no longer in the talking point, so we're done. And you can't trust Toronto. Doesn't matter if they finish as the 1 seed.
With no LeBron in the East, though, I'm sure that's a sigh of relief.
I guess.
For Toronto. But I agree with you. Philadelphia is an outside threat, but if Boston's fully healthy, the way that they're coached, you would think that those two things have them as the prohibitive favorite. And then I think the second favorite in the West would be Golden State's lack of motivation.
Perhaps, right.
It
almost happened. It almost happened with Houston this year. Houston almost knocked them off. I mean, and that could have happened. So the intrigue is Houston and Golden State over there. And then we'll see who they put around LeBron. You give credit to Magic Johnson. I mean, on a serious note, he had to do something. They had to win over a big name somewhere along the way to get this thing rebuilt. And you get the biggest of names. And if you're LeBron, clearly this is an indicator, right, that you're this is it. You go, you play these 4 years, you call it a day.
I find the decision very curious because I thought, and listen, man, it's his choice, so I'm not trying to, but I thought he was going to go someplace where he didn't have to work as hard. But this first year in LA, he's going to have to play as many of the regular season games as he can just to assure that they get maybe home court for a series.
Well, yeah, they're going to lose. They're not a threat.
But think about how hard he has to work. I thought the idea was he's going to coast in the final chapter of his career. No, Cleveland's situation was tough, and he had to work really hard, but the East was open for business. In the West, there's a lot of good teams in the West. I think it was 10 teams finished over 500 last year out West, and the Lakers weren't one of them. So, good God, the work he's going to have to do to get him to the second round is going to have to be Herculean unless they have one more trick up their sleeve.
So no improvements to the roster. If there are no further improvements to the roster, the Lakers aren't a legitimate threat. But what it does do is it just shifts all the entire balance of power in the NBA to the West again completely. And, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with a couple of the name free agents. I think the whole thing is Kawhi Leonard, right? Isn't that all we're kind of waiting on here?
Right. And, there's two layers to it, obviously. It's where is his destination for this year, and then where does he choose next season? The Paul George example is one that I saw Adrian Wojnarowski talk about last night when he was on SVP's Sports Center, and he said, well, the thought was that Paul George, given the opportunity, would dart out west, to L.A. or a big market. But he played 1 year in Oklahoma City, and he liked it. So he decided to re-up for a ton of cash. You can't guarantee that Kawhi is going to be in L.A., just by standing pat and doing nothing. So it would be in the Magic Johnson's best interest to see if he can make this thing happen now. But San Antonio, in a weird way, at least for the next few months, is in a position of power because what if Boston or Philadelphia came calling? The spoils they could get for Kawhi Leonard are substantial.
Was there a room, young Matthew, you know this, weren't the Sixers about to pony up an awful lot for Kawhi Leonard? That's an interesting match there.
It is, yeah. And
if that's a healthy Kawhi Leonard, then the Sixers, which I already found infinitely fun to watch.
They wanted 3 first-round picks and 2 players.
Jeez.
3 first-round picks and 2 players, if you couldn't hear that at home.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is a lot. And for a rental, you'd have to guarantee a sign-and trade or something.
I'd have to say, you're going to give me some guarantees, some assurances.
But he wouldn't sign. That's the whole problem here. The thought is that it's L.A. and it's the Lakers come hell or high water. So if you want a rental, get a rental. And that's where Kawhi still holds his leverage, as he says, well, I'm not going to sign. So what are you coming at me for? It's just a really interesting predicament. Kawhi can change the balance of the power across the league right now. But, what does San Antonio do?
That story will always bother me. I don't know the truth. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Kawhi seems like a guy that was eminently likable, hardworking, all those things. And obviously, when he was healthy, was something to behold, became a player that was not just a great offensive talent, but a dominant defensive talent. And that's what I like most about. I love complete players, guys who have the requisite skills on both sides. And then whatever happened in that relationship, it went south. It just seems so strange to me that things could go that wrong in an organization that has been run as well as that one has in San Antonio. That is a botched situation, if ever there was one, and I don't know who to blame, but that strikes me as incredibly weird. I can't help but look at Kawhi these days. Again, admittedly, may not be fair. I don't know the whole story, but I can't help but look at him with a kind of a jaundiced eye, a raised eyebrow. You think about the players that have gone through there that all loved it, and certainly, you've got a player's coach. You've got smart ownership. It just strikes me as odd.
Yeah, if you read that long piece, I think Ramona Shelburne and I forget who else, it was a 2-person
Apparently
piece.
When Parker went south and said basically that.
Right. Well, you've got, it's just incredible how much his time and his tenure in San Antonio changed the moment that he stepped on Zaza's foot. Because remember, they might have had a chance to beat Golden State last year.
Yeah, that's right.
And then from there, this whole thing begins, and he got some advice in his ear. That's, if you just, boil it down to the basics, it looks like he's got an advisor in his ear that's family, that's given him perhaps some bad advice. But when you're that good of a player and you have all of these options in front of you in a year anyway, he may come out on top at the end of this whole thing. It's just that it seems like everything was hunky-dory, and if you ask people about Kawhi, the person, one-on-one, great guy, couldn't be better. Yeah. But then when he allows a third person into the room, he changes completely and he backs down to family. Weird.
So now you have to find asset-rich teams to do business with, and those two teams are the Celtics and the Sixers. So there you go. Right now, the Lakers, meanwhile, will make their push, of course, but it will be fascinating to see how that plays out, and this will be the last time we talk about the NBA until the season starts.
No, or until the finals when it's Golden State and Boston.
Because I'll say it now, as I did last hour. I'll probably say it again this hour and tomorrow, and then maybe again on Thursday. Because here's the deal. Football starts next month. That's right. It does. And every conversation moving forward on the show will largely be centered around the fact that football starts next month, Tom. I can't say that enough. It is a season of intrigue. I was reading this morning, as I'm wont to do these days, about just how difficult Michigan's schedule is and the 3-game stretches of a lot of teams that I went through over the weekend actually cracked me up, because you and I have had this conversation about Tennessee's stretch. But there are a whole bunch of teams that have stretches that are ruthless.
Well, our back half of our schedule is ruthless.
It's on the list. It's on the list of 3-game stretches that you go, ooh, don't think you want that. Don't think you need that. Tennessee's is real high on that list. I would say that there's a couple of teams that can't afford to have the kind of stretch that they have. I saw 4 really bad teams that have a stretch of 3 games that are just wrong, ruthless.
Tennessee's is like Alabama, Georgia, the Patriots, the Eagles. I mean, it's just insane. And you don't get a break. And a lot of it's on the road, too. But with us, the 3-game stretch, it has to be Clemson here, then NC State, Notre Dame on the road. That's, wow.
I just don't know how good NC State's going to be. They lost 8 starters on defense. They're loaded on offense. We're playing them on the road, I got you. But that's a team that should have won more than they did a year ago. They lost 4 times with all those NFL draft picks. Defensively, I know they have some depth and experience that are filling the roles that the starters vacated. But you lose 8 starters, including a top 10 pick in Chubb. I don't know, man. It's hard to predict that they're going to be good. And then offensively, what's Notre Dame going to be? I think the stretch, because of the games in succession that you're talking about, with football being the way that it is, certainly in a vacuum, I can make great arguments for us to crush NC State and even Notre Dame on the road. But when it's Clemson, NC State, Notre Dame, it's a lot harder to do. I agree with you. But I have 2 big question marks about both NC State and Notre Dame on different sides of the ball.
Yeah, they could be completely different teams, and we might look at those games in a fundamentally different way at the beginning of November than we do right now. But it's just the idea of having to go on the road right after the Clemson game when you're putting all the eggs in that basket.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you do what you're supposed to do before the bye week, that game is going to be for the lead in the Atlantic Division. It's going to be for a chance to play for the ACC title. And if you're going to have that emotional edge for that game, then you got to get on a plane and go to NC State, which has been a house of horrors. When we've been better and they've been worse, then we will both be respectively this year.
Don't you think this is a chance to change that narrative that for whatever reason that existed for the longest time, it existed under the only coach we've ever known in Bowden. And then the guy that replaced Bowden was with Bowden, and so you feel like he was of Bowden. We are starting fresh here. We can chop that legacy of struggle on the road in the house of piss that is NC State. We can do that, Tom, this year, starting now, getting off on the right foot with Willie Taggart going in there, stomping NC State, and we're done with this nonsense forevermore.
I don't know. I mean, Willie's got Bowden's blessing. Bowden came back to practice and addressed the team, thanks to Willie.
Yeah, but that's Bowden's blessing is one thing, but being of the group that coached with and were a part of the struggles on the road against NC State, Willie never has.
I mean, the only undefeated head coach in Florida State history, Odell Haggins, will be on the sideline there, so you have a bridge. Is that impact a little too high?
So Odell's departure will someday mean the end of the haunting environs at NC State.
I don't know. Now he's coached with Willie. It's just
it's just forevermore
little
passed
contagious.
on. I don't think so. But I will say, because somebody else brought it up over the weekend, we had a mutual friend have a party this weekend. We both attended at different times.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I'm not going down to Miami. I'm not going down to that Miami game. I'm too old to go down to Miami. It's such a – no, now is when you want to go down to Miami because they're chest puffed out after that miraculous win a year ago and finally ending the 7-game losing streak. And they probably feel as if they're the better team right now. And last year, they didn't deserve to win. Should have been an 8-game streak. This would have been going on 9. Oh, my goodness. The Platinum Bohica would have been intact, but alas, it's no more. But they really believe they're going to win that game. And I think it'd be fun to go back down there and start the new streak.
Well, I would agree with you because I've never been to a game down there.
Well,
so I want to see it in all its glory.
You're going, buddy. You'll see it.
Because that's an 8 p.m. kick. It's got to be.
Oh, it's got to be. And we'll be there. We'll be on the 50. You'll be surrounded by filth. You'll be surrounded by really obnoxious, over-the-top fans of an emblem more than they are a team.
I'm sure Fowler will have 3 outfits in case he needs to change for any reason whatsoever. Happy, mad, whatever it's going to be. But, the cool thing is we're going to be chasing a Platinum Bohica with the Gators.
Well, we got a ways to go.
We're at 5.
We're at 5. We got a ways to go.
You give me 2 wins in a row over Mullen.
You get me to 7, and we're talking. Then we start. Oh, the idea of marching into the swamp someday with a Platinum Bohica.
Well, it's going to be 6 going to their house next year.
Mm-hmm. Should be.
That's an important one.
That's 7th?
Mm-hmm. Because they ain't coming back and beating us for number 8. That would mean twice in a row to us, which means that we're going to continue our edge in the recruiting game as if we already don't have one over Mullen.
Well, you just got to remember, Tom, that we didn't think Miami was going to come in here and win last year either. Before the preseason talking points were certainly that Miami wasn't going to come here and win. And then even after we started off so poorly and looked like an awful team, we still dominated that game and should have been up by more and didn't and wasted it at the end of the first half, all that nonsense there.
Without our quarterback.
I'll tell you what, Jimbo couldn't have coached worse last season than he did. I'm going back lately to catch up and look at some things. He was terrible as a head coach last year. Just an embarrassment. He should be ashamed of himself. I'm talking about in-game coaching. He sucked. It was pitiful. Just pitiful. I'm angry about it now.
It's almost like his mind was elsewhere.
Oh, completely. And just really boneheaded. Come on, sir. What are we doing? Just bizarre things. Listen, I'm not going down that road again, but just doesn't make any damn sense to speak of. I'll tell you what makes sense, though. If you got a do-it-yourself project that needs to be finished, go visit Rick, Austin, and the knowledgeable staff at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener to satisfy all of your power tool needs. I'm going to do this because I'm not very good at do-it-yourself projects around the house. I'm not, but I want to learn. I want to get better. I want to learn from the best. So I'm going to stop by either of the Cornerstone Tool and Fasteners 2 locations, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Give them a call today. Figure it all out, right? 580-1200, Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Good people. Now sponsors. Jeff Cameron Show, huh? It's a big deal.
This is true.
It's a big damn deal. I like it.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Neese Tire and Auto Service. Neese has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Neese Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Neese Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Retro gaming, Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it, they got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
The holidays are coming. Well, in a few months, and that's why now is the time to shower up with a beautiful custom bath or shower enclosure from Widden Glass. Don't wait for the holiday rush. Widden Glass will take care of you this summer to your complete satisfaction. They've been helping to design and install bath and shower enclosures for Tallahassee homeowners for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with real glass people, experienced, reliable professionals. Widden's top-of-the-line bath and shower enclosures provide style and luxury at an affordable price. With the holidays coming, that means family, and that means now is the time to shower up with style.
Call today. Widden Glass, the real glass people. 222-5781 or online at widdenglass.com. WHIDDON. Widden, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. 222-5781.
And now, Jeff and Eddie wasting time when they're supposed to be recording a commercial.
What do you think about this team this weekend?
Crazy, huh? Really fast.
And they're good. Where do they come from?
Never thought about it.
Oh,
Never
my
thought
goodness.
about it.
But then that one guy does that thing.
I had 2 people call about it. It's ridiculous.
It's the talk of the town.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Roofing is rewarding, but it's not exactly a bed of roses. It's a very dirty job, subject to the environment, working on 98-degree summer days, dodging rainstorms, working on steep slopes like a mountain goat. At Parker Brothers, our skilled workers have chosen this challenging trade as their career choice. These are the people that you want working on your roof. We've been servicing the community since 1995. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
CGC 042221, CCC 049350.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You'll like this, Tom. My kids are home from camps that they're in this week. They don't have it. And so this morning we watched Neymar and Brazil beat Mexico 2-0. And I've been trying to sync my hooks, the World Cup hooks, into my kids. Like, watch this with me, kids. It's important. And both my kids like soccer, so it's not like I'm, pulling teeth. They both play, and Clark plays a lot and played with Tottenham here locally and loves it. And Coach Josh does a great job over there. But anyhow, the point would be this. I got him to watch this morning, and we were watching, and my favorite part was Clark finally says, after watching, I think it was the third really egregious dive of the game, which really is the ruination of soccer. They got to stop. They've got to start kicking people out of games. Just like kick them out of games. Go, if you have to review it, review it. And when you review it and you see there's nothing there, kick them out of the game. But the point would be this. Clark saw one in particular, and he watched the replay in slow motion time and again, and he's not aware of the plague that is the flopping that goes on in soccer internationally. He was not, I think, hip to that. He had no idea that was a thing. And about a third of the way through the match, after another one of those, he says, well, Dad, their dads must never have told them just to get up. I was so proud. It was a wonderful moment. And I said, that's right, son. That's right. He goes, because you just tell us to get up, and I've fallen into trees and had elbows off my face, and you just say, get up. You don't even let me lay there and cry. I go, no, because you don't need to. There's no reason for that, right? He goes, well, these guys are getting hurt way less than I ever did, and they they writhe around in pain for, rolling around over and over again. I go, there it is, son. There it is. And it's true. It's so beautiful to watch the sport, but that has got to stop. And an 8-year-old boy was watching that and saying, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
In the second half of the snooze fest that was Croatia-Denmark yesterday, there were 2 or 3 Croatian players that, and you know what's funny is we all play the xenophobic card when you get to international events.
Right, because you super root for your team, but we don't have a team this year.
But you can kind of guess the countries that are going to be guilty of these things.
Of the flopping?
Yes. I thought in that match of Croatia and Denmark, if there was going to be a candidate, it would have been Croatia. And I was dead right. That match was terrible, by the way.
Yeah, but there have been a few terrible matches.
The ending was great, obviously.
Yeah, you get drama. Yeah.
You get the penalty, then the penalty kicks.
Right.
You get the penalty in, was it, the 116? Mm-hmm. And obviously, there was the first time I heard the note yesterday since June of 1986, just before I was born, where you had both matches in a round of 16 on the same day go to
PKs,
penalty kicks.
Yeah. I hate when it goes to PKs, by the way.
But yes, Argentina-France was a wonderful match
Yep.
on Saturday.
Scorefest.
Just all I did was catch the PKs of Russia-Spain. I couldn't believe it because I was watching something else. And I said, well, there's no way. This is 3-0 or something. And then they're in PKs. You got to be kidding me. Is somebody on the take? What's going on here?
Oh, it was Russia.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, everybody goes, well, yeah, maybe. That said, a mutual friend of ours sent me a text about if he had to convert in a PK situation to send his country to the next round, he'd throw up beforehand. And I jokingly, because it's not the same thing at all, I told him in the semifinals of the Giza Cup, I had to convert on a penalty kick. Buried it in the top left corner, by the way. But I was on the cusp of puking. I do remember being that nervous.
So one of my good friends growing up was just a killer athlete across all sports. He could have been a kicker at the professional level in the NFL. I really do believe this. He was able to hit 55-yarders off of regular ground, no tee, in high school. He just didn't want to be a kicker. He didn't want the stigma.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
Because, well, I mean, he was a really, really good running back, but he was just never going to be D1. Mm-hmm. I agree. He could have been D1, walked on and earned the job and done whatever he wanted.
Yeah, go.
Well, he missed a PK in the state quarter or semifinals. Might have been district championship, whatever.
Happens. A lot of times it's crossbar or post.
He airmailed it over, which is like it's like
we've all seen it.
The Mighty Casey kind of a thing because he didn't fail on the field.
Just crushed it.
The next day,
adrenaline.
Right, and I heard about it. I didn't go to the game. I thought, oh my God, he missed. And the next 2 or 3 days, walking the hallways, just a ghost. He's just a ghost.
It's awful.
He's trying to hide it, but he can't.
It's point blank, too, man. When you stand where they stand, when you get ready to kick a penalty kick, you realize why all the pressure is on the person doing the kicking. It's really hard to miss from where you are there because a perfectly placed ball cannot be saved by even the most world-class goalie. It literally cannot be saved. And you play so much and you get used to placing so much that, when you're just fooling around with your friends, you can hit something that approximates that area of the goal, either side, 9 out of 10 times when you're just fiddling around with your friends. It's the pressure of that. It's a little bit, to me, it's a little bit like the shot on Sawgrass at 17, where you and I could go over there literally tomorrow. And I'm not a world-class golfer, but you wouldn't need to be. I've played the hole twice, and one of the times almost aced the damn thing. It's an easy shot for a average golfer. Just an easy shot. It's a wedge or a 9 or an 8, depending on where they have the flag that day. And if you just don't skull it, I mean, you're going to get it on the green. But obviously, it's not that easy because players far greater than me, when a stadium is added and millions of dollars are on the line and it's a Sunday, routinely throw it in the water and struggle all day with it. So, I can't imagine being put on a world stage. It's the World Cup.
Yeah.
And you know what the expectation is, that you can't possibly miss that shot. And
right. Or, yes, you could be threatened. You could have to leave the country.
Oh, yeah.
Depending upon where you're from.
No, we're right. Obviously, if you're at a place that takes these things way too seriously or a third world country, then you could get killed.
That's why I was glad when it went to PKs and the Croatian guy made the kick in PKs. If he had missed twice, because he was on the verge of vomiting yesterday when it was time for, I think he was kick 3 in the PKs. My God. I was weeping for him. I was like, you poor. I mean, because he has the look about him. Like, don't you do that before they kick? You kind of look at every guy like, oh, he's going to miss.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, you try to identify. It's the poker table. You try to
Yeah.
identify the guy. Like, oh, he's got no shot.
Yeah.
Look at him.
That happened twice yesterday,
Yeah,
too. There were a couple of guys that you could see. He's defeated before he even lines this up. But at least that guy made it. Because if he had missed it again and they had lost, oh, my God, he might not be alive today.
Which is horrible because it's soccer. Should note before we break that MyPillow has a special offer for you right now, 60-day money-back guarantee. Click on a 2-pack special. Just go to MyPillow.com, enter the promo code 979ESPN. You'll get 2 MyPillow premium pillows for a low price plus free shipping. You want that. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 2-pack special. I've got one, slept on it last night, sleep on it every night, love it. So does my wife. I think you'll love it too. Promo code 979ESPN. Give them a call, 800-4... that's the wrong number, Jeff. 800-944-6596. Go to MyPillow.com. Click on the 2-pack special, 979 ESPN. Made right here. It's 4th of July time in the good old U.S. of A. I'll tell you that. And it's machine washable and dryable, 10-year warranty. And if you don't like it, 60-day money-back guarantee, but you will like it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Blatter was reelected to a 5th term on May 29th, 2 days after 7 soccer officials were arrested in Zurich ahead of the FIFA Congress.
At Superlube, we pride ourselves on keeping your car maintained properly with our 20-point inspection. And right now at Superlube, take advantage of our half-price fuel system cleaning service to help restore engine performance and enhance gas mileage. Superlube offers quick and convenient service, and you'll never need an appointment. So come into Superlube today, get your oil changed, and a whole lot more. Superlube, with 19 area locations, there's probably one right around the corner right now.
How I love to Superlube my car, yes sir.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Summer temps in Tallahassee can mean extra stress on your AC unit. Let Barano Heating and Air Conditioning help with their Total Comfort Service program. Visit BaranoAC.com for info. You'll also find money-saving rebates, energy-saving tips, online scheduling, and more. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Call 580-4029. License for CAC 057652.
4th of July pool party. Shopping.
Up to 60% off select swimwear for the family at JCPenney. Need I say more?
Ooh, better get matching towels.
Only $3.99 Home Expressions bath towels. Red, white, and cool.
Hurry into JCPenney for the 4th of July event. Hot summer deals plus $10 off your $25 purchase with coupon. JCPenney, style and value for all. Coupon valid 7/2 to 7/8. Exclusions apply. See store at jcp.com for details.
Summer is heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. Purchase a brushless premium 5-amp-hour hammer drill impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool and a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a $260 value free. Makita introduces one battery, one tool for all your outdoor power equipment needs. Buy a commercial-grade Makita shafted string trimmer and add any other attachment, plus receive a matching blower free. A $189 value for free. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener with 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
I am one.
I am one.
I am one. We are all one Tallahassee.
I am one.
And we are all voting for Jeremy Matlow for City Commission.
We are all voting for Jeremy Matlow because he wants to represent all of us.
Each one of us.
Because we are all one Tallahassee.
We're voting for Jeremy Matlow because he grew up in Tallahassee and he knows what it is to be unrepresented, overlooked, and underprivileged.
Because Jeremy Matlow is a successful business owner who wants to make Tallahassee a better place to do business.
Because Jeremy Matlow wants our city commission to come together to represent one Tallahassee.
I'm Jeremy Matlow. I'm running for city commission because we want our government to work for everyone, to bridge our economic divide, strengthen local business, and grow in a way we are all proud to call home.
Political advertisement paid for and approved by Jeremy Matlow, nonpartisan, for Tallahassee City Commission, Seat 3.
Come into Lowe's for July 4th savings and give your favorite space a fresh new look, whether it's indoors or out on the deck. Get $10 to $40 off select paint, primer, and stain. Then invite some friends over to show off your handiwork. Don't forget to get the grill going with a 2-pack of Kingsford charcoal, now only $9.88. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid through 7/11 and via rebate. Kingsford offer valid through 7/4. See store for details.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool & Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Feels like a holiday already. Most of you are not working. You have been wise enough to take today and tomorrow off to go along with the day you already get off on Wednesday. Hey now. And, you know, that works. That's a good deal. I should have done as much, but I'll be taking Friday off.
Yeah, because then you come back after a 5-day weekend for a Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
There's not much getting done this week in this country, I doubt.
No, I don't think so. When the 4th falls on a Wednesday, I think America's production comes to a screeching halt. I think that's true. It's like that's the worst day it could fall on for productivity. If it would have been a Monday, no big deal, because you'd have come back on a Tuesday the rest of the week and gotten after it, had that extra day. Maybe you took the previous Friday off and had a good 4-day thing. When it's a Wednesday, man, what are we doing here? Nobody's working. Nobody's working.
Yeah, like Canada, for example.
It was just recently Canada Day on Sunday, by the way. I celebrated.
Right.
With gusto.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I did a couple of things uniquely Canadian. I don't eat it, but I fixed my kids' Canadian bacon.
You did?
I did. I love Canada. I've been to Canada 3 times.
Yeah.
I love Canada.
Me too.
Canadian people are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's just, period, is awesome. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, we were there last year in Halifax, and it was their 150th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had the museum and the historical site at the Citadel in downtown Halifax, which was one of the big forts in the British Empire. The way it's built, you could see nobody's getting up that hill.
No.
It's just
good
stupid.
luck with that. Right.
But everything was free. If you went to any park or historical site that was run by the government, it was free for the entire year to celebrate 150 years of Canadian history, which was cool. So we just walked right in. They said, well, we're in the booth to give you information guides, but this whole year we're not charging you a thing. So here's your information and step right on in.
And then I tried to find movies for my kids, Tom, that feature Canadian actors. But it's hard because I can't show them a Seth Rogen film, really.
Right.
You know, and I love Ryan Reynolds, for example, who's brilliant. what film am I showing him with that? You know, I mean, really.
Well, he's ugly anyway.
And then I was thinking Mike Myers. I almost Bryce, almost to the age now where I could get away with
maybe a John Candy.
Oh, Canadian Bacon, his last film, which is tragic. Was that was that his last film?
It may have been.
Or was that what was the one where they were supposed to be Mounties? I can't remember.
I think that was Canadian Bacon.
Yeah.
But you could have shown him The Great Outdoors or.
Well, I could have shown him a lot of old
Uncle
school,
Buck.
a lot of old school ones. Yeah, I can show him at some point. Planes, they could both watch. Well, at least Bryce can watch Plane, Trains, and Automobiles by now.
I think they both like it.
Yeah,
it's rated R, but I saw it as a kid and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. I could show him Jim Carrey movies. Canadian.
There you go.
Also Canadian.
Yeah.
Also Canadian. That's
well,
true.
you could show him The Mask. That's fine
for sure,
and safe,
right.
and it's got Cameron Diaz in her prime. So everybody wins.
I could go back and find reruns of Family Ties and show him Michael J. Fox.
Oh, Back to the Future.
He's also Canadian. They've seen that.
Okay.
Oh, they've seen all those.
Do they like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kid doesn't love that?
Yeah, it's
Those
a great
are really,
movie.
Those are really good.
There was a cartoon show when I was growing up, Back to the Future.
I vaguely remember that, right?
Yeah.
I won't show him really any Keanu Reeves movies because it's Keanu Reeves. But, I mean, although.
Well, the John Wicks are said to be excellent.
For what they are, very, very comic book-like.
Yeah. I've not seen either of them.
I
but I've
have
heard
both because they're on HBO every day. So if you're flipping around, you'll see them. They're the same film.
It's like the U.S. Marshals effect.
Yeah, you just can't help yourself.
It's always on.
Just watching it. Yeah. No, I've seen it. Keanu's got a couple good movies, but
you liked Speed. You couldn't show him that, but you liked Speed, right?
The original Speed. When I saw it in theaters. If you see it now, it's terrible. It doesn't hold up. It's awful. I mean, no.
The first Matrix, if you just tell them that the other two don't exist, they'll
right?
be fine.
Yeah. Actually, that's the weird thing about Keanu Reeves is he's in so many bad movies, and then the few that he's in that are really good are really good. There's a couple of that I really like, but I would have shown him them. I think if we go way back, what's the Gus Van Sant film? Idaho, something Saving Idaho. Whatever. My own Private Idaho.
Never heard of it.
Oh, great film. Great film. It's him in River Phoenix.
Oh, well, you love River Phoenix.
I did. I met River Phoenix years and years ago in Gainesville, Florida.
Down by the lake.
He had, by the way, did River Phoenix, a place in Gainesville, Florida. Just a weird world that we live in. Imagine that River Phoenix and Tom Petty are like hanging out in Gainesville, where they're both from.
Yeah. That is a little goofy, isn't it?
It's very strange.
Well, imagine that Richard Simmons or any number of people went here.
Oh, went
Florida
here,
State.
yeah. Faye Dunaway, too, I think, right?
Jim Morrison. That's what I was trying to think of.
Sure, briefly. Yeah. He's on a student film.
Imagine them at the Union at the same time.
Hanging out. Have you ever seen the Jim Morrison student film?
No.
That he did?
No.
It's like a public service thing about something to do with the U.S. mail.
Really?
It's in black and white, yeah.
Huh, that's curious.
Yeah. Well, if you read No One Here Gets Out of Live, which is a great book, I don't know how much of it is fact in retrospect, but there's a cool chapter on his time in Tallahassee. But he was there's a guy that listens to this show that roomed with him and can prove it and came by here one time when we were at the old place and showed me a book that he had that Jim had signed.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That must have been interesting.
It is interesting. And that guy, he goes, I didn't know him well. He was one of like 3 roommates, but we lived together, and I couldn't have known he was going to go on to be Jim Morrison, but he did. He's like, I lived with that guy. It's weird. When you go back and find stories of people who were unassuming and then go on to some form of superstardom, it's funny to read the accounts of those that were their buddy. Like, if you went to high school with Eddie Vedder, you read those people, they're like, I didn't have any idea he was musically inclined. I didn't know he felt ostracized and wrote songs. I had no idea. Next thing I knew, 10 came out, and he was the world's biggest rock star. I was like, I went to middle school and high school with that dude. He was nothing. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? But it happens that way for some people.
Yeah, it's usually the aloof guys. Now, was Eddie popular?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think he was somewhere in the middle, though. I don't think he was ostracized. I don't.
There are candidates, though. If you think about that and apply it back to your high school experience, there are some people you'd be like,
he could have.
He could be. It's just like you do the theory about that guy's dangerous. He may be in jail somewhere.
Yeah.
He may be a mass murderer or something.
Right.
Like, we all circle that guy, but we do that pretty early in high school.
Yeah, you're like that. He's got issues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm not going to mess with him because in case he decides to go bonkers, I don't want to be in
And then there were always the guys that you thought were surefire candidates because they were uniquely talented.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether they were in drama or they were musicians or whatever they were.
They were Renaissance men.
They were really talented. There were two that went to my high school, really never became anything. But they were very I would have said those guys right there. That guy right there is going to be huge. He was a virtuoso guitarist. He was incredible.
There was one kid he was the Renaissance man. He was the head of every club, and he was well ahead of his time.
See, I think if you're the head of every club, you're not going to make it.
Well,
he may be peaking too early.
Well, he did the Harvard thing, like he everything, checked all the boxes. Pretty decent athlete too, but he didn't play the sports. But you could tell that if he devoted the time to the athletics rather than all the academic pursuits, he would have been okay. I think he's a doctor, but he's like just a doctor. I feel like, you should be what Myron Roll's doing or whatever, right? Shouldn't you get, scholarships paid for to go overseas or to study at the Ivy League?
Right.
In your postgraduate pursuits, shouldn't you be at the forefront of some research or breakthrough? And it's like, you're a doctor, but that seems to be on the low end of the scale of what you should have done.
You probably should have been some sort of very famous doctor or at the forefront of your field. I actually did go to high school with a guy who's at the forefront of his field in pediatric medicine, and he is not a guy that you would have ever thought could have been. He was a guy at a tough middle school and high school run and was really – now there's a guy that I thought maybe an actor, musician, writer, poet. So he's got issues, a lot of things to write and kind of work out through life. His dad died young and all this other stuff. But he did. He ended up joining the Navy and then ended up going – I think it was to Johns Hopkins and later Harvard. And he is at the forefront of pediatric medicine.
There's one guy I was sitting in pre-calc with, and he was a friend of mine. We had small enough classes that you would interact with people as much as you wanted to. His name was Julian. And Julian and I got along famously in short spurts, as in for a period or two a day. And then we never hung out outside of school. But, really, he looked forward to the class as much as I did.
Right.
Because we'd sit there, we'd rip on people. We'd make jokes. It would be a lot of fun.
You had fun, yeah.
We were friends for that very brief period of time. We ended up becoming better friends as we saw each other in parties after the end of high school and college. And he was just very much a worker. He wasn't always in advanced AP classes. He was just a worker type guy. And now he is an accomplished doctor because that work ethic never stopped.
That's awesome.
And what
shows there's two ways to get there, man.
There's two ways to get there. You can either peak early and have the 4.6 or whatever it is.
Or you can be one of these guys who has a photographic memory and be genius your whole life, and then kind of that ends up making you lazy in a weird way. Or as opposed to the guy who knows, I'm not as smart as some of these other guys, so I'm going to have to work, and they just outwork your ass.
That's what he did.
That's amazing.
And now he is, he's made of money, at least as far as I can tell from his Facebook profile. He could be completely lying.
More importantly, he's a doctor.
But he's a doctor. I'm so proud of him. I see him sometimes on Facebook. He doesn't know this, and I go,
good for you,
Julian.
buddy. Good for you.
Right.
Let's do some probables, shall we? It's a weird way to get there.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Braves, Yankees, Anibal Sanchez, Jonathan Loaizaga. Hey, so the Yankees just tattooed David Price last night. It was embarrassing. And you felt like it was never ending. They just left him out there to continue to limber up. But I tweeted out a picture of the Florida State fan in right field.
You did.
I don't know if you saw, but he made a hearty effort early in that game to catch one of the many home run balls.
I did not see it live, but I saw the photo, and there is serious intent in his eyes.
Oh, he's trying hard.
Yeah.
It landed to his right. You can't see it in that photo, but he had a chance. It came up just short.
He has the look on his eyes, or in his eyes.
I'm going to make this play.
That he knew that a home run ball was coming his way.
Well, there was a good reason to believe that was so because David Price was giving him up left and right, that's for sure. Red Sox, Nats. There you go. It's an All-American series. We've got Rick Porcello and Max Scherzer. Sox, Reds, that would be White Sox, Reds. James Shields, Luis Castillo, Rays, Marlins, Nathan Eovaldi. By the way, the Rays win again over the Astros, now a game above 500, 42-41. And, man, Kevin Cash, that's ridiculous. In that division?
Yeah, you won't sniff a division title, but it doesn't matter.
Buddy, you are setting yourself up for another job somewhere else sometime soon. That guy's doing some things.
Yeah, if Aaron Boone can't get it done, right?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we get Cash?
Man, that guy's winning. Yeah. Y.E. Chen goes for the Marlins. We got the Twins and the Brewers, Kyle Gibson, Brent Suter. Suter's been good. Indians, Royals, Corey Kluber, Jacob Junis. Giants, Rockies, Madison Bumgarner, Kyle Freeland. Cards D-backs, Carlos Martinez, and that's right, Robbie Ray. All right. The familiar Robbie Ray is back in the fold. I feel like probables are back on track. Pirates, Dodgers, oh boy. Nick Kingham and Alex Wood. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
And guess who sighs his lullaby?
A reminder as we sign off for the evening. Yes, we're on tomorrow. But also, when you woke up yesterday, you were able to turn to your loved one or ones and say, football starts next month. Bam. That's what you were able to say. As of yesterday, you woke up and you could stretch and go, oh, got to get me a coffee. Oh, by the way, football starts next month. And that's an accurate statement.
Hello, my friend, hello.
I mean, it does. It engenders good feelings when I say that aloud. It just does. I understand the nuance there, but look, man, football literally starts next month. It does. There are football games being played next month.
I think people
and they count
driving around town just smiled.
Oh, I think so. I think they thought
the commute's safer.
Well, damn it, you're right, Cameron. Football does start next month. It absolutely does. And it's not even like the last day of next month. No. We're 52 days away from the start of football, man. That is crazy. Yeah. And this week goes by really quick as the holiday. I mean, forget about it.
Somebody's on Cap Circle right now. They said, I wouldn't let this guy in front of me. But, go ahead, sir.
Go ahead. Football starts next month. Get
football
it.
Starts.
Just get it. What do we – yep, here it is. Although it's been a deeply flawed and I'm going to be really focused, hyper-focused on the Florida State season and really just the college football season in general. Our pro football team is in dire straits, hanging on by a thread. I don't envision good things. I think they're going to get off to the 1-4 start, and we're going to be done here.
What's funny is, and by all means, please sign up today because we have Buccaneers coverage all season long, and you're going to want to hear us react to it at the very least.
You will, right? Yeah.
But I was getting ready today, and this random thought popped in my head. Not so random now because now I get it. There's a purpose. Vita Vea, he's going to be a bust. I just thought that. I was like, man, he's going to be a bust. This is going to suck.
Well, now you've just added to my dismay. I already felt because the franchise quarterback has been suspended for 3 games and made it very difficult to get behind and pull for. And damn it, man. Now you're going to tell me our first-round pick is a complete bust?
It feels like it because this thing is snowballing. It's like, well, he's going to be a bust on top of everything.
I was already disappointed because, A, the suspension was forthcoming, and that situation is just, I don't know what happened and what didn't happen, but I know you can't put yourself in a position to get suspended for 3 games, man, and I'm just incredibly disappointed. And then in addition to that, I think Dirk Cutter's a dumbass. A timid dumbass at that, which I have no time for. So we've got a coward for a head coach. Management seems to be a wreck. Our franchise quarterback is hanging on by a thread. And you think Vita Vea's a bust.
It just popped in my head because I'm like you. I'm miserable. I'm thinking, oh, man, this is dead before we start. Like Dirk Cutter's the guy in the movie. It's like a water boy for the onside kick. Where's my you-know-what?
Right.
It's like dead meat. Dead meat.
Yeah.
You look at him and you're not impressed.
Well, by the way, I did have I know we got to go. We're up against it. I did have a scenario by which I chuckled through all of this Winston stuff, and that was me envisioning Dirk Cutter, who knows he's up against it, getting the news that his quarterback's going to be suspended for the first 3 games, just staring blankly while shaving in the morning into a mirror and just looking beyond that mirror, Tom, as far as the eyes can see, back into his soul, the reflection into his soul of just, I've got no chance. I was already up against it, and now we're going 0-3, baby. I'm done. I'm done because we're not good enough to recover from 0-3. I don't think.
No, you got to win one of those first 3 games and let the NFL be the NFL.
Well, you really have to hope like hell that somehow somebody else comes out the gates really slow because I don't know how you beat Philadelphia. I don't think you'll beat New Orleans that first game of the year. And then the Steelers on Monday.
Pittsburgh is the candidate, though, because they will lay an egg.
Occasionally. I don't see
Well,
it.
it's not like Mike Tomlin is the second coming.
No, he's not a great coach, but they've got a Hall of Fame quarterback and enough talent.
We beat him with Glennon in their building, though.
We did, and that was really dumb. That's another one of those glaring examples of Tomlin where what are you calling, sir? This is crazy.
Hell, they got the deep ball. That's it.
It's just insane. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.